Hello, can you hear me clearly? कोई कुछ बोलता ही नहीं है। अब मैं हिंदी में पढ़ाएगा, पूरा लेक्चर हिंदी में। Because in English when I am asking, can you hear me clearly? If they are not replying, that means they are not understanding. So I will have to change the language, है ना? ये भी तो it is possible no that I am not audible only, so how will they reply? Can you hear me? Okay, fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's go ahead. We are still doing a chapter called income from salary, and it is still going to go on for a while. In salary, we are in the allowance part, but we are certainly going to get done with this allowance part in today's lecture. We might get some time to also start our perquisites. We are done with some big calculations like leave travel allowance, gratuity, pension, leave encashment. I think we have also finished retrenchment compensation, voluntary retirement. Last part, tax paid by employer on non-monetary perquisites. You understood the difference between translation and understanding what is the concept. Fantastic. Then we go ahead. The next two things, section 10, 11 and 10, 12 together give us a concept called Provident funds. Provident fund. This is not a word that you have never heard before. If you know any employee around you, whether government or non-government, in fact non-employees also, you've certainly heard of this thing called Provident fund. Provident fund is basically a fund to secure your future. Because today you are working, you are earning, you have income, you have expenses, correct? One day you will retire, your incomes will stop, and obviously your expenses will also stop. Before saying yes for everything, first listen to what I am saying. Your expenses will also stop? No. So you will need a regular income even after your retirement. You will need to eat food after retirement also. Well, no, only when I am earning I'll eat food, otherwise. No. Or who are you, camel? That eat food now when you are working and store inside you. Are a camel, ship of the desert. No, we have to eat daily and remove daily. So after retirement, human body, so there is nothing wrong in that. One day when you retire, you will still need money for your expenses, and for this you need to secure your retirement. There are various ways in which you can do. See, Provident fund is just one of the ways of making investment. For securing your retirement, you can do whatever. You can take insurance policies which will mature after your retirement. You can go for something called fixed income plan, that after a certain age every year the insurance company will give you something. There is something called pension fund. Government employees, so of course they take birth for enjoying life only, so they are going to get pension any which way. You can make some investments in equities, mutual fund which will give you money after retirement. While earning, you can invest in some properties, they will give you rent. Where to make investment, that income tax law cannot tell you. You need a good financial advisor. That financial advisor will tell you this is the risk and reward of this investment. Equity very risky but very rewarding. Debentures less risky but fixed rate of return. Government securities no risk but very low rate of return. That is your choice where to invest. One of the ways of investment is Provident fund. It is just one of the ways of making investment. Income tax can maximum tell you, if you earn dividend on equity, this is the tax treatment. Rent of property, this is the tax treatment. Debenture interest, this is the tax treatment. And if you invest in Provident fund, this is the tax treatment. Income tax can give you tax treatment. Income tax cannot give you investment ideas. You have that much common sense. So what is this thing called Provident fund? Your employer is giving you a salary, say for example 50,000 rupees every month. In that you try to save some money. Our ancestors have taught us that whenever you earn 1 rupee, first save 25 for future. 0.25 matlab. Every 100 rupees, save 25 for future. 25 you keep as contingency, emergency. 25 you make investment so that one day that income earns on its own. Means income will generate income for you. And finally the last 25 you should spend for your present needs. Ancestors have taught us that you should spend only 25% of your income. The last 20%. We follow our ancestors' instructions. Exactly in reverse order. We first spend, then we are left with nothing actually. And I have seen a lot of people in my personal life, family life, friends life, when they had lots and lots of money, they didn't have any control on their expense. And one day when the money flow stopped, they have, used to a certain degree of standard of living and expense, but their income is no longer matching that expense. Now they can no longer go in their existing circle. They start staying within the boundaries of their houses, stop their human interaction, go into depression, because at the time, at your good time, if you have no control over your expenses, then your bad times will be very bad. But all these advices income tax will not give. Income tax is simply saying there is a fund called Provident Fund. It is like a separate bank account. Whatever you earn, you can keep a certain portion of your money separately in that account called Provident Fund account. This employee is earning every month how much? From this 50,000, he is keeping 5,000 rupees separate. Every month he is accumulating 5,000. That means he is mentally ready that my income is only 45,000. I have to consider only 45,000 for my day-to-day expenses. 5,000 he has invested in a separate account called Provident Fund account. That means can I say he is making an investment of 10% of his income? When the employer saw this, he had tears in his eyes. Wow. What a good guy. He cares about himself, his family, his future. 10% of his income he is keeping aside. He is considering only 45 for his expenses. Very nice. Very nice. The employer, out of emotion, also transferred some amount in this account, the Provident Fund account, for the employee over and above the salary. Means every month in the Provident Fund account, there will be two accumulations. One, 5,000. I will call this the employee contribution. And two, 8,000. These are all example amounts. We call this the... See, so employer's outflow is 50 plus 8. This 8 is over and above 50. So 50 cash in hand, 8 in your account. 50 cash in hand, 8 in your PF account. And from that 50, you also contribute 5,000. When you are investing 10% of your income, employer also is very, very proud of you. Employer is emotional and out of emotion, he is contributing. But let me tell you, there is no employer who is emotional. There is no employer who ever has tears in his eyes. It is mandatory in India. There is a law called Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act. I think that also is not there in your law syllabus. We had all these laws in our CA inter syllabus. We had Contract Act, Companies Act. A partnership sale of goods was in Foundation CPT. We had Contract Act, Companies Act, Payment of Bonus Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, Negotiable Instrument Act, EPF Act. We had too many laws. But of course, major weightage was, and law was only 60 marks. Actually, in that 100 mark paper, we had 20 marks business ethics and 20 marks communication, ethics and communication. So in 60 marks, about 40-45 marks weightage was Contract Act and Companies Act. And then, of course, we also had the remaining 40 marks of ethics and communication, which was a very easy part. So while all these laws were in the syllabus, most students, 99% students, despite being in the syllabus, never studied gratuity, bonus, negotiable instrument. No one studied only those laws because they are like chalna maximum weightage mein we are finishing off whatever is relevant, and we were aware that final mein again only Companies Act is going to come. So we used to focus on Contract and Companies Act. But yes, we did have, and we still have that law. It is removed from syllabus, but there is a law, Miscellaneous Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provision Act. Short may we call it the PF Act, the EPF Act, under which employer will have to contribute. So understand this transaction from employer point of view. Is it outflow 50 plus 8? And understand this transaction from employee point of view. He is getting benefit from his employer of 50 plus 8. Because whatever amount is getting accumulated here, one fine day withdrawal will be done by the employee. He is the beneficiary. So he is getting from his employer 50,000 in cash and 8,000 as account contribution, PF account contribution. Is this 8,000 over and above salary? So when we calculate your taxable salary, obviously we will have to take 50 and 8. Do you understand? So we have to understand what is the tax treatment of employee contribution, because ultimately I have earned 50 but I have retained only 45. 5 I have also invested. Is there any tax benefit for that investment? Plus my employer has given 8,000 not in cash but in the account. Yes, that's an extra benefit, but I am not getting the cash. So will I get some tax benefit in that? There is some tax benefit. So that means, do I have to teach you tax benefit of employee contribution and employer contribution? Plus, at the end of the year, in this PF account, you understand every month we are contributing 13,000. Annual contribution 1,56,000. Arey 13 into 12 re bro. Aisa, what reaction you are giving? If 13,000 is per month, you understood that. So annual contribution will be how much? Calculate कर लेना. हाँ कर लेना calculate. 1,56,000. That amount of 1,56,000 will magically increase. You want to guess how? At the end of the year, there is going to be interest, because this is working like nothing like but a bank account. So there will be interest on employer contribution, interest on employee contribution, the total interest for the year. This cycle will go on for 15 years. Every month, employer and employee contribute, employer, employee, and every year there will be interest. Do you realize the amount will be massive at the end of 15 years? It will be 13 into 12 into 15. That's only the principal. 13 into 12 into 15 plus interest. Massive amount. That massive lump sum amount which you get at the end of 15 years, you can use it as your retirement fund. You can use it for any of your major expenses. At the end of those 15 years, you'll be having your children ka higher education. If children are grown up, their wedding expenses, your new house you want to purchase, you can use all that money for that purpose. You are going to get a massive sum at the end of 15 years in the form of maturity value. Every provident fund account will have 4 types of amounts. Employer contribution, in our example it is 8,000. Employee contribution, in our example it is 5,000. Interest, which will be credited on this 13,000 into 12 every year, and maturity, which we will receive at the end of 15 years. We have to learn tax treatment of provident fund contribution under salary, because this is over and above salary. So employer is giving you 50,000 in cash. From that, what are you doing? 5,000 in the PF account, and plus employer is also contributing 8,000 in the PF account. So effectively, employer ka outflow is 58, and your inflow is 50 minus 5, because cash will remain 45, and 13,000 will accumulate in the account. So effectively, it is 45 plus 13, 58 outflow and 58 inflow. To give better practical effect, how they do is, in practical life, employer gives you 45 and 13 in the PF account. Now some people now think that, sir, this is employer contribution. No, sir. It is still 8 plus 5, because this 5 he has adjusted from your salary. It only looks like he is contributing, but actually you have contributed. So that we don't have to go twice to make payment. Employer says, don't worry, on your behalf, I will only make, I will adjust. So effectively, the outflow still remains 58, cash in hand remains 45, and accumulated balance remains 13,000. But still, in this 13 also, it is 8,000 employer contribution and 5,000 employer. It is the same thing. It is the same thing. We are only giving better effect for practical, smooth implementation of this whole activity. Did you understand? So in our example, what is your salary? 50,000. 8,000 is extra, over and above salary. That is, in the form of an additional benefit. So basic salary remains 50,000. Plus, what is your employer contribution in your account? 8,000. And from your salary also, you are contributing 5,000. So total accumulated balance in the fund every month will be 13,000. Is that clear? Plus, you will have interest, plus you will have maturity. I have to teach you tax treatment of these 4 things. Which 4 things? Employer contribution, employee contribution, interest, and maturity. So one by one, I will teach you A, B, C, D, employer, employee, interest, maturity. But wait, a little extra data now. In our country, there are 4 types of provident funds. 4 types of contributions, you have understood? 4 types of provident fund. In our country, we have something called a statutory provident fund, which is in short known as SPF, where money will be transferred by government employees. Statutory provident fund is created for only and only for government employees. So we have to learn tax treatment of employer contribution, employee contribution, interest and maturity for government employees in this column. But do you understand private sector will not have this column? So for the private sector, what do we have? For the private sector in our country, there are two types of provident funds. One, there is something called recognized provident fund. You can call it RPF. And there is something called unrecognized provident fund. You can call it URPF. We have something called recognized provident fund and we have something called unrecognized provident fund. These two funds are for non-government, private sector employees. Means government employees will contribute money in which fund? Statutory provident fund. Private sector will be contributing money in which fund? Either recognized or unrecognized. If your fund is registered in the EPF Act and approved by the government, then we will call it recognized. And if you have not taken that registration, you are like, sir, this is your salary and I am keeping this 5,000 separate for you or this 8,000 separate for you. But where are you keeping it? Who is going to take care of the usage of money? Government has got no control. Such funds are unrecognized funds. You can't be keeping, in your cupboard only, you are keeping 50,000, well, I am keeping this 5,000 separate in my cupboard. That's my provident fund. Bro, it does not work like that. You have to follow the rules and regulations of the EPF Act. Then only it will be legal fund. We call it recognized. And if you don't, then it will be called unrecognized provident fund. So government employees, statutory. Private sector, if it is registered, then recognized. If not, then. But there is one problem. Will there be some people who are not anybody's employees? I am not anybody's employee. Of course, the one at home is unpaid bonded labor. At home, I am an employee of my mother. But that is unpaid. Otherwise, on paper, I don't work for salary for anyone. I work as an independent professional. So, of course, I don't have the right to secure my future. Kya? Do I have the right to secure my future? Do I have the right to make provident fund contributions? Do I have the right to expect that today I invest, so 15 years later I will get a bulk money, lump sum money, maturity? But I can't invest in statutory provident fund because I am not government employee. I can't invest in RPF, URPF because I am nobody's employee. For people like me, in India there is a concept called Public Provident Fund, very famously known as PPF. Anybody can make investment in that. These people can also make investment, but they don't because they already have their own provident fund, special provident fund. So if you ever ask me, sir, can employees invest in PPF? There is no prohibition, but why do you want to? You already have your provident fund. There are so many other ways to invest. No, invest there. Hello. So I have to teach you tax treatment of 4 amounts. Which are the 4 amounts? Employee contribution, employer contribution, and maturity for 4 funds. So the system is going to be like this: employee contribution, year, what is the tax treatment? Employer contribution, what is the tax treatment? Interest, what is the tax treatment? Maturity, what is the tax treatment? I have to fill for you 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 into 4, 16 boxes. 4 amounts, 4 funds, 4 into 4, 16. Employer-employee interest maturity for SPF. Employer-employee interest maturity for RPF, URPF. Only one of them will be not applicable, which is if you have understood what is PPF. In PPF, there will be no employer contribution. In PPF, there cannot be employer contribution because PPF is for those who are nobody's employee. So out of 16, one is not applicable. For all other cases, we have to learn the tax treatment. If I teach you the tax treatment of 15 things, you understood 4 into 4, we get done with the concept of Provident Fund. So ladies and gentlemen, we are doing Provident Fund. Provident Fund is basically a special account to secure your future. You contribute money from your current income. Your employer will also contribute. In our example, employer contribution is 8,000. Employee contribution is 5,000. Of course, in that PPF wala case, first of all, there won't be 8,000 because there is no employer. Second, that 5,000 won't be from salary because you don't have salary. But you can contribute 5,000 from your business income, rental income, other sources income, whatever income you have, you can contribute from that. And wherever you contribute, from whichever amount you contribute, in all the funds, you will be getting interest and maturity. So, 4 funds, 4 amounts. This is the tax treatment of Provident Fund. No matter how complicated it will appear when we will do one by one all of them. In exam, this question can come maximum for 1 mark. That also not as a question but as an adjustment. Because there will be a big question, calculate income from salary. In that, there will be contribution of employer. So, you just have to do the tax treatment that I am doing under employer. You don't have to solve a full sum. Do you understand? One question cannot have all. One assessee can't be in all. No, one assessee will be in one. So, you need to know all. But at one time, you have to do only one. That also, do you understand? If this is year of contribution, it can't be year of maturity. 15 years we contribute and one time we get maturity. So, while we are contributing, the maturity won't come. And when maturity is coming, there won't be contribution. So, we have to learn all. But in one question, only one adjustment can come for 1 month. There can never be a special question only on Provident Fund. Provident Fund can only come as an adjustment. But you have to know tax treatment of all the 16 things, out of which one is not applicable, PPF employer. You have to learn tax treatment of all 16. You understand that? And then whenever or whatever comes in exam, you have to give effect. Do you understand? So ladies and gentlemen, first contribution, let's learn the tax treatment of employee contribution. But I will have to play safe and also mention self contribution. You know why? Because here I can call it employee. I am talking about 5,000 rupees. Here I can't call it employee contribution because you are not anybody's employee. So for this guy, I will have to call it self. If I write only the word self contribution, no, that can apply in all the 4 columns. But we should know that the first 3 are employees and the 4th one is not. And therefore, we are writing employee contribution for SPF, RPF, URPF, but we are writing self contribution for PPF. In our example, that means I am teaching you tax treatment of which amount? 5,000. For this 5,000, is it an investment? Now think about it. Think about the story. What was your monthly salary? 50,000. But you decided not to keep 50,000 for your day-to-day disposable use. You have decided what? 5,000 I will make investment. So I will use only. Government wants to encourage such investments. Only if you invest today, you will safeguard your future. Otherwise, one day you will retire and become dependent on the government. So government wants to encourage, and in our income tax law, existing income tax law, I read newspaper reports. I read newspaper report stating that we are nearing the budget session of the parliament, and finance minister, like she said in the last budget, that in the next 6 months I will completely change the income tax law, complete overhaul. I might just abolish the existing income tax law and create something called a new law, that is the direct tax code. If she does that, so bro, every word that we are learning today, every day that you are tolerating me for so many hours, just because someone is extremely attractive, young and handsome, does not mean that you listen to lecture for 4 hours. Bro, there are better ways of tolerating someone. No? But all this might be a total waste. But in exam, this only will come, because whatever will come for new assessment. And knowing auntie and her track record, she will not simplify the law. She will only and only make it more and more complicated. If auntie, you had to change the law in 6 months, then why on earth, why the hell in just July, but a matter of 6 months, you had to completely change the capital gains chapter, or massively change the tax rates of new regime, or those who are subjected to an operation called search and seizure, which illiterate people call income tax ka raid. There is no word called raid written anywhere in income tax law. In technical language, we call it search and seizure. Raid looks good only as long as Ajay Devgan is making a Bollywood movie. Because if Ajay Devgan makes a movie called Search and Seizure, the one, people will not understand that what is the theme of the movie. Second, people will start assuming, oh, Ajay Devgan, Search and Seizure, Ajay Devgan has gone to Hollywood. The power of Vimal. Bolo Zubha Kesri. People will not understand. And therefore, he had to call the movie a popular word, raid. Inside the movie, he has again and again said, search operation, search operation, search operation. She has completely changed the whole process, the powers and rights of search. Everything in that chapter, thankfully that chapter is not in inter-syllabus, but completely changed. Completely changed capital gains. Massive changes in TDS. Massive changes in new tax regime corrects. For 6 months. If you had to completely change income tax law, then you could have not brought anything and waited for 6 months. No. 6 months is not going to make any massive difference in tax collection. You understand Kida? What kind of? Huh? क्या बोला? World? Hey, you are talking about what is the way of talking about? Bro, reduce your dose. You never know what's in store. There might be massive change. If she does this one small step, no, new taxation regime is compulsory. This much can also simplify the income tax, but that she won't, because the blame of collapse of the markets will come on her. So knowing her, I doubt whether anything will happen. Newspaper reports are not trustworthy. You see a lot of next few days, no, as we are approaching the budget, we are on the 18th of January today. As we are approaching the budget, you'll see more and more news channel debates happening, experts giving their own opinion. A lot of those experts pay to appear on that TV show. They themselves sponsor because they want to, generate some business out of it. One thing I have realized in the last few months, every word in print media, every word in electronic media, and every word even on social media, every podcast on social media is a clear paid strategy to promote a particular individual. We call it PR stunt. And therefore, newspaper reports cannot be trusted unless and until the finance minister on a legal stage, that is on the floor of the parliament, announces that I abolish income tax law. You don't, get this thing in your head, sir. Why should we study now? So income tax is abolished. Bro, in your exam, it is this one. And if it is by chance changed, no problem in CA final. You learn the new law. As simple as that. You will have to. Of course, don't approach me like this. Bro, you keep your arm around my shoulder away. Bro, you and me will have to attend the same coaching class because both of us have to learn new income tax now. Chal, bro, let's take admission together. In any case, if you and me go together, no one will come to know who is the teacher, who is the student. Bro, I will still know it better than you. I will understand the moment I read the statement. Have you all ever tried reading the bare act? Do one thing. You don't have to, Google this. Income tax ke website pe they have uploaded the full act. Do one thing. Open any section which we have studied, like house property ka section, or a Sikkim wala section 1026 AAA. Open any section which we have studied. In the Income Tax Act, and try to read it. After the 5th word, you will close your eyes and go off to sleep. Is how every law in our country is drafted. And income tax law is one of the most, I should say it the most, but let me call it one of the most, on a safer side, one of the most complicated laws of our country. So we'll have to wait and watch what happens. As of now, employee contributions are subjected to certain tax benefit, and that tax benefit is given in that chapter 6A. What is chapter 6A? Our deductions. In our deductions, what happens is, first, our entire income is written in our total. In fact, it's a part of a total called gross total income. And from gross total income, we subtract something that is called our deduction. As an employee, are you making an investment to safeguard the future of yourself and your family? And this guy has a non-employee from his business income, rental income, whichever income. Are you safeguarding your family? So we will give you tax benefit in the form of a deduction under chapter 6. Means it is not an exemption. Will it be included in the outer column? Yes. Will it come in the total? Yes. But at the bottom, we will subtract. You want to guess that whether the first column will be eligible for this deduction, because own contribution is eligible for deduction. But which of the columns will be eligible? Will all of them be eligible? Who will be eligible? Who will not be eligible? Now we have to write that here. So, no marks for guessing. First column, will it be eligible for tax benefit? Ek minute. First column, will it be eligible for tax benefit? Whatever tax benefits are present in this world, they will all come in this column. Bro, and by now I don't even have to try to convince you. By now you are convinced that government employees in our country take birth. Why? To enjoy life. So yes, they will get deduction under chapter 6. Name of the section is 80C. Deduction under 80C. Your life insurance premium also comes in this section. Your provident fund also comes in this section. If you have taken a home loan, interest ka deduction comes in house property, but principal ka deduction comes in this section. This one section gives us lots of deduction. Next, RPF. Has this guy worked hard? Put effort in taking recognition from the government, fulfillment of rules and regulations. So should this person genuinely get tax benefit? Yes. Now let's talk about unrecognized provident fund. Have you put any effort? Have you followed any rules and regulation? Should you get tax benefit? Common sense is the best law. So obviously here you will not get the deduction. And let's talk about what a beauty this PPF is. What a beauty. Whatever tax benefit is present in this column, they are a privileged class. All the benefits will come in this column. As a tax consultant, if anybody is coming and asking you, which is the best form of investment for tax purposes, your instant answer should be PPF. PPF is the best investment for private sector. Best. Because not just the first one. First, of course. So will you get deduction of your own contribution? Which is not employee, because you are not employed. You are probably contributing it. Supposingly, I want to contribute in PPF. I contribute it from my PGBP. But the other benefits, because there are more benefits coming up. Employer, here it will be there, but here, of course, it is not applicable. Interest, maturity, whatever tax benefit comes in this column, the most privileged class will also come here. These two columns are absolutely same, except the fact that here there is no employer. So it is not applicable. Otherwise, all benefits available in SPF are available in PPF. PPF is going to make you equal to government employees in tax benefit. Best investment for private sector, PPF, from tax perspective. If your target is return on investment, so there is nothing that can match equity. No other asset class can give you the returns of equity. Equity can make your money double, triple, 5 times, 10 times in a span of few months also. But it can make it zero also. Better than equity, there is only one thing which of late, last few years has started giving better returns than equity. Cryptocurrency. But crypto investment again is about, if you are mentally ready that this amount becomes zero, then no problem. Invest only that much in crypto. Ten years ago, 1 Bitcoin was enough to buy one pizza, 2 pizzas. 2 Bitcoins, 1 pizza. Today, you know the price of 1 Bitcoin? Kitna? How much? Check karke. Abhi I'll give you live. $1 lakh. $1 lakh matlab what price? Oh, you calculate. $1 lakh price of 1 Bitcoin. But then you understand the risk involved. So ladies and gentlemen, In case of your own contribution, you are going to be eligible for your Chapter 6A ATC for all the provident funds except one, which is very logical. Unrecognized, no effort put, no tax benefit. But how will we present it in our computation? Let me show you that also. In my first note, I am giving you explanation of employee contribution, which can also be self contribution for the last one. In our example, that amount is. Our first step is going to be writing our salary income, or in case of the last one, it will be PGBP. This full 50,000 will come in the outer column. From this 50 only I am investing 5. No? But I won't subtract it here. If I subtract anything here, that is exemption. But it is not an exemption, it is a deduction. So include it. Then I will take my other incomes also. I can have IFOS, capital gain, anything. Will this become my gross total income? From this gross total income, when I take deduction under Chapter 6A in Section 80C, I will be allowed to subtract 5,000 to get my NTTI. Matlab, employee contribution is available as a deduction. Is that deduction available in SPF? Yes. Is it available in RPF? Yes. And it is also available in PPF. Not available only in one case, that is URPF. But what's a deduction? First include, then subtract. That means coming back to the original story. Am I safeguarding my future by investing 5,000? Government will encourage me by giving me a tax deduction in all the cases except where I don't take recognition from the government. That is the tax treatment of our first amount, that is employee contribution. Everyone is clear? Like this, we have to finish total of 4 amounts. You remember which 4 amounts? Employee, employer, interest, maturity. I hope you are with me. So chalo, let's go ahead. Employer contribution. Let me begin by completing the easiest of all. Not applicable because PPF is only for employees and PPF is only for people who are not employees of anyone, and therefore there cannot be any employer contribution in PPF. Do you agree and understand? Now let's talk about the other three. Which is the amount in our example? 8,000. Means your boss has given you 50 plus 8. Separate. 50 in cash and 8 in the account. Is that an extra benefit? Yes. So should we add it in income from salary? Yes. But after adding it in income from salary, bro, the first column. Yes, kya? Deduction? No. Any other thing you would like to say? It is going to be fully exempt. Means we will write 50 in our outer column. Because 50 will come in total. From the total, we will subtract 5,000. But 8,000 we will write in the inner column. And in the inner column itself, we will subtract 8,000. Outer column, 0. It is fully exempt. Welcome to government employees ka tax treatment. So if you want to see explanation of the second amount, which is the explanation of the second amount? Explanation of the employer contribution, where we are contributing in our example 8,000. First step was salary. Now this time I will not write PGBP because there is no employer. Salary, full 50 in the outer column. Sir, but 5,000 ka tax benefit, that is at the bottom. Plus there is employer contribution to Provident fund. How much is that? 8,000. Why am I writing in the inner column? Because it is exempt. How much is exempt? Full 8,000 is exempt. So outer column we have 0. Of course, total mein we will have, and in the grand total again we will have ATC of 5,000. So that 5 will also be a benefit. But currently the target is not explanation of this 5. Currently the target is explanation of this 80, the employer contribution. In case of SPF will be fully exempt. So PPF no employer, SPF fully exempt. Now what are we left with? RPF and URPF. Let's talk about RPF. Has this person put some effort in government recognition? Should this person get some tax benefit? But that tax benefit cannot be as high as government employees. So we will give you an exemption, but not full exemption. This will be limited exemption. This will be exempt up to 12% of your salary. Exempt up to 12% of your salary. So if your boss is contributing up to 12%, you will get your exemption. If it is more than 12%, it will be, the excess will be taxable. Supposingly boss is contributing 13%, so 1% is going to be taxable. I'll show you the presentation. Is this SPF ka presentation understood? Now what about RPF? In RPF also, first we will write salary 50,000. Then we will write employer contribution, because this is over and above, in the inner column. Why? Because here also we have an exemption. What is that exemption? 12%. If you like an idiot end up taking 12% of 8,000, that will be the biggest disaster ever. It is not 12% of 8,000. Observe carefully. You have to apply 12% on your salary, where salary is going to be basic plus DA in terms plus your fixed percentage commission on turnover. Basic plus DA in terms plus fixed percentage commission on turnover. In our example, there is no DA or commission, so we will apply 12% of salary, which is 12% of. Be very careful of this. 12% of 50,000, and therefore exemption will be 6. Taxable will be 2. Total will become 52. And don't forget, here ATC is available because this is a case of RPF, no bro. RPF mein this and this both are available. Sorry about the interruption. We were what was the last thing I said just before I was called in office? And it was not for increment, in case you had any misconception. कोई बात नहीं. We'll tell him to open the door sometime later. You remember what was the last thing I said before we paused it? Okay, let me only remind you. RPF mein we are getting exemption of 12% of salary with respect to employer contribution. Remember, it 12% is not on the contribution, it is on the salary, basic plus D in terms plus percentage commission. So own contribution, you will get 80C in all except unrecognized. And employer contribution 8,000. In PPF it won't be there. In SPF fully exempt, and in RPF 12% of salary will be exempt. So we'll take exemption of 6,000, outer column 2,000, and then plus from that 52 we get ATC of 5,000 as our own contribution also. Now let's talk about unrecognized provident fund. No government recognition, no approval, correct? Not put any effort in complying with rules and regulations. What do you think? First, use your common sense and tell me, should they get a tax benefit? No. What do you think should be the tax treatment here? With your common sense, give me the answer. No, what should be the tax treatment here? Fully taxable. Common sense says that no effort put means it should be fully taxable. Correct? Means what we should do is 50 and 8 and 58 and no deduction, because you are unrecognized. That is common sense, no? Oh bro, if you have specs, you wear them. If you are wearing, tighten them please. Tighten. For those who don't have, tight. For those who don't have specs, make this shape in your hand and cover your eye. And those who don't have specs, bola, everything you don't have to do. Make this shape in your hand and cover your eyeballs, because your eyeballs are now going to pop out and you are going to lose them. Your aankh ka gutti will come out, and those who are online are still safe because their eyeballs will fall. They have to pick and put it back. Now those who are attending offline, so many of your all eyeballs will come out. They'll get mixed with each other. Then you'll be wondering, plus you don't have eyes also. How will you identify? One person will take another's eyeball and catch. Just imagine. हो गया, done. Fully exempt. What happened? Did someone hit you? Surprised? But at least, can I come and say that this is also the tax treatment for URPF? Fully exempt. Of course, in URPF, this won't come. That I have already taught you here. No? This is not going to be available for URPF. URPF not eligible. But as far as the employer contribution is concerned, URPF also fully exempt. Surprising? See, government employees get exemption is not surprising. Private sector limited exemption in RPF, not a surprise. But unrecognized should be fully taxable. Logical, no? Because you've not put any effort. But what are they doing instead? Fully exempt. Surprising? Correct? Hai? Oh no, there is an answer. Globally, under Islam, there is a festival called Bakri Eid. You heard about the festival Bakri Eid? What is the idea behind that festival? What happens in that festival? Any idea? What happens in Bakri Eid? क्या नहीं होता? There is no Eid. So you follow only Ramzan. Bakri Eid है ना? What happens in that festival? You know or you don't? मालूम है ना? So tell me now what happens in that. Kurbani. Elaborate. Kurbani to bro, you have decided to do CA, that is also a Kurbani. Sacrifice. But elaborate, no please. हाँ बोलो बोलो बोलो.
मतलब कम्युनिटी में या जो भी है ना पूरे साल में मटन नहीं खा सकते ना, नॉनवेज अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते, तो कुर्बानी करके ना ज्यादा से ज्यादा है ना उन लोग के साथ शेयर कर, जो नहीं खा सकते ना.
Before that what happens? ठीक है. So you do sacrifice and share it with community members. उसके पहले what happens? You directly bring the goat home and cut? नहीं. What do you do? Bring the goat at least 2 days prior. What do you do during those 2 days? Feed. है ना? Make it happy. Then do the sacrifice. So remember, before sacrificing the goat, you have to first feed the goat. This is the goat. Currently we are feeding the goat. And there will be a time when we will sacrifice. And when we will sacrifice very badly. So goat, eat. And this is not that Gen Z wala goat. Greatest of all time. These days I see some Gen Z students say you are goated. Goated. I see them putting on social media. What do you mean by goated? Goat, I understood. See, I always keep myself updated with Gen Z philosophy. So, GOAT is of course greatest of all time. What do you mean by goated? Some say Virat Kohli is goated. What does that mean? That you don't know? I had seen one gotia in Singham. A gotia. Goat is fine. And your generation feels Virat Kohli is goated. Bro, you have not seen Sachin Tendulkar batting. If Virat Kohli is out, you don't switch off the TV. If Sachin Tendulkar is out, people used to switch off their TV and get back to work. World leaders said that I want to commit a crime when Sachin Tendulkar is watching. Or Sachin Tendulkar is batting. Because when he is batting, even God is watching. So God won't come to know about my crime. You all don't know this. Go ask your parents. If he is out, TV will be off. No one will watch that match. There was a time. And there was a time for more than a decade. Bro, goat is goat. Ultimately, goat cannot be bigger than God. Okay, generation changes. Yesterday it was Sachin. Before that it was Sunil Gavaskar. Now it is maybe Virat Kohli. Tomorrow there may be a Shubman Gill. After that maybe Yashasvi Jaiswal. Whoever. Every generation will have their own superstar. Bakri Eid says, first feed the bakra, then we will sacrifice. And when we sacrifice very badly. In one strike. But as of now, fully exempt. So are you clear about this part? Fully exempt, everyone? Fantastic. Which is the third amount? Interest. That will be credited in your RPF account or in your PPF account or in your SPF account, in your URPF account. This is an additional income. Guess the tax treatment in the first column. That means now I don't need to show you any presentation. I hope you understand. Write it in the inner column, minus in the inner column. Fully exempt. Last column is same as first column except the absence of employer. So any tax benefit in the first column will be given in the last column. PPF is the best investment for tax purpose in private sector, which means fully exempt. RPF has put effort, should get exemption, but cannot be as big as government. So yes, we will give you exemption, but the exemption will be only up to 9.5% per annum. Limited exemption. Just like principal mein we give you exemption of 12% of salary. Here we will give you 9.5%. Matlab, if you are getting 8% interest, inner column minus fully exempt, outer column 0. 9% fully exempt, outer column 0. 9.5% fully exempt, outer column 0. 10%. Then exempt 9.5%, outer column 0.5. Supposingly you get 1 lakh interest, 10%. If 1 lakh is 10%, so 9.5 will be how much? 95. So 1 lakh minus 95, 5,000 will be taxable. If it was government, then 1 minus 1. PPF, then 1 minus 1. But in RPF, 9.5 will be exempt and balance will be taxable. Is that clear? Everyone? So, interest will be fully exempt in first and last column, but in the second column, exemption is up to 9.5% per annum. Over and above 9.5 will be taxable. Ye clear hai? What do you think? What is the answer, man? What do you think should be the answer of URPF? Let me remind you, they haven't put any effort. So should be fully taxable because those who put effort are getting limited benefit. And now you can't give that reaction, no, because you know it's a bakra. And one day that bakra in one strike, ऐसा slowly नहीं, fully exempt. So can I say tax treatment of 3 columns out of 4 is same? Inner column may fully exempt, outer column 0, and only in RPF we give limited benefit. And this is the tax treatment of interest in provident funds, leaving us with the last thing. Maturity is also a huge amount. Do you agree? Lump sum amount that you get after 15 years has to be a very big amount. If that big amount becomes taxable, it will end up taking you in 30% bracket. Don't worry. You 30%? Lol. Let me remind you, they are government employees. So yes, maturity also will be. So just bro, observe. First, your contribution you take deduction and the remaining 3 are fully exempt. Is that understood? Highest tax benefit in the first column, SPF. Equivalent tax benefit also in the last column. If you observe, last column is completely same as first column, except that there is no employer, so employer contribution not applicable. But yes, here also the maturity will be fully exempt. Ye correct hai? So first column, last column, fully exempt. Let's talk about the poor guys in recognized provident fund. Did they comply with government rules and regulation? Yes. Did they take registration? Yes. They were always subject to scrutiny by government? Yes. But still they always got limited benefit. In principle only up to 12%, in interest only up to 9.5%. They have always struggled in life. You know, people under RPF are a life lesson. That if you struggle during your life, there will be one day in your life when you are going to relax more than others. And this is that day, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, with all the limited benefit that you have taken, your maturity, which is big, will be fully exempt. So in course of your day-to-day operations, you are paying tax on some amount, over 12%, over 9.5%. It won't affect tax rate. But when it comes to a very big amount, they will grant you full exemption. When I was in college, my college had attendance issues. You had to compulsorily have attendance. If you don't have proper attendance, they will call your parents, they will insult your parents. And I hate anyone who disrespects my parents. But if it is my fault, then I am the one who is responsible. If my college vice principal is screaming at my parents, I am the one who is responsible. I made sure it never happens. But there also I did a manipulative strategy. Basically, Mumbai University says every college student should have 75% attendance in both semesters, in both terms during the year. The first term of the year, I used to have 100% attendance. Every day, full lecture, mornings, we used to have about 4 lectures in 3 hours, 45 minutes, 4 lectures we used to have. I used to sit on the last bench and solve my costing FM questions. Whatever chapter was over in my coaching class, during the day, next morning, I used to practice those questions in my college. I used to sign the attendance, and college teachers were not interested in whether you are listening, not listening, as long as you are present, and whether you're present or not present also. They just come because they have to come. And you just go because you have to go. Sign the attendance and keep doing your work. Be careful if there is one strict teacher or anything. I used to wait for the first blacklist of absentee students. Of course, my name will never come in that because 100% attendance. But majority names used to come because a lot of students did not have any attendance. Once the first list is out, then the college ka target is those students. After that, the college only sees if these students are now attending. They don't even see those students who were not there in the first list. Once that first list was out, my college attendance became 0. After that, I used to sit home and practice. And when it was time for peak practice, near the CA exams, those students were attending college lectures because of blacklist issues. I was sitting at home and doing my practice. Smart strategy. Because system is very clear. If your name does not come in the first list, then they don't target you subsequently. They just want to target repeat offenders. And you call it karma, you call it whatever. The time that you waste now will hit you back near your exams. You observe this. You waste time now. As your exams come closer, you will have malaria. Just when you recover from that, somebody will be getting married. You have to attend. They will get married and run away. But you have to attend their wedding. Just when you're like, no, from next week I'll study properly, seriously, sincerely. Somebody in your household will be unfortunately unwell. That karma hits you back with respect to the time that you have wasted. The moment it will become peak timing, there will be some distraction. I used to make sure that these distractions do not come in my way of my preparation for my CE exams, which is why I did well. Get rid of that college issue. So we used to attend college. After 3 hours of college, we had articleship during college days. I belong to a course where we had 3.5 years of articleship. So after CPT 1.5 years, then give PCC, then 2 years articleship, then give final. So we had articleship during the day. So our PCC ka, matlab inter ka coaching class used to be only 6 to 9 in the evening because we were during the day working. So just like now, today we call final students in the morning, but morning mein inter students we can't call because of college. So we used to go in evening classes. So morning 7 to evening 9. Night actually. College, office, classes. College, office, classes. Where do I do my self-study? That is why you used to use my college ka 3 hours for my practice. That once my class syllabus is over, I have finished my studies also. Now I will only revise. So when my revision time came, no college. Offices used to give leave for 3 months, 4 months for your exams, and my coaching class also over. So all these commitments of 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. over, only self-study, which is also revision, studies are over. Is the only way of doing good. Start early. But it used to be a very, very tiring day. And many times I used to, that way, believe me, hate my life. Imagine the life, no bro, 7 to 9. 2 hours, 14 hours. 7 to 9. And by the time 9:30 you reach home, you don't reach home, dead body. And next morning again you have to go to through that same cycle. Very difficult life. In fact, institute has made things really easy for you guys. When you are studying inter, no articleship. Only study. Once you get done with this, articleship will start. By that time, college will get over. When your peak CA final ka study will start, by that time, your majority office ka work will also get over. You can focus on your CA final. In fact, there will be a good gap between your articleship and your final exam. So at one time you have to do only one thing, unlike us who had college, office, studies, everything together. I used to hate my life. At least some point of time you will get this feeling. No, of course it is my choice that I chose this course, but some point of time, life hai yaar. And there were other friends who had no such commitment. If you are not doing CA, matlab after college hours you are free only. Father's business, you go, you don't go, does not matter. Sometimes that feeling of jealousy also used to come. That I wish my life was also so easy. But believe me, those friends of mine, today, if they have to spend 5,000 also on their spouse or children, they have to actually take permission from their father or their parents, because they are completely involved in their family business. And once you are in a part of a big family business, overall net worth may be much higher, but personally you don't have any permission to spend money. You have to manage like pocket money only. Every month will give you this much. Manage you and your spouse and your children. You have to manage in that much. Bro, basic expenses also they have to take permission. Today I spend 5,000, 50,000 or 5 lakh for something. I don't have to take anybody's permission. RPF is a life lesson. That full life when you have struggled, one day you will relax. Because somebody who is enjoying life right now, you must be jealous. No? Sir, I am taking registration, I am complying with government rules and regulations, I am doing all the formalities, but this guy is getting exemption and I am paying tax above 12% and 9.5%. Don't worry, bro. One day, whoever said it very appropriately. Apna time aayega. One day your time will come and your time has come. And one day that person ka time will also come. And that has also come. So dear goat, dear bakra, it is time to sacrifice. So RPF maturity will be exempt, but unrecognized provident fund. Have you enjoyed your life forever despite not doing any compliance of rules and regulations? Well then, ladies and gentlemen, you will be paying tax now on that also such a big maturity value, which will drag you in the highest tax rate of 30%. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this maturity is going to be taxable. But wait, slight explanation is required. This maturity will be divided into two types. Am I getting the employer money back as well as the employee money? Matlab, employer contribution, employee contribution, both I am getting. You agree? Am I getting the principal back as well as the interest back? Matlab, all the employer contribution over the years I am getting back with interest. Am I getting the principal of my own contribution with interest back? So do you realize that the lump sum maturity that I am getting can be divided into four parts? Employer principal, own principal, and interest on both. Over the years, I contributed 5,000, boss contributed 8,000, and interest came on both. All that accumulated, and I am getting all that amount together. Out of these four amounts, this is where your understanding will be required. Out of these four amounts, I have already paid tax on one. You have to identify that. Because no matter how much we want to punish you, we can never tax the same amount twice. So there is one amount out of these four. You understanding which are the four amounts? There is one amount out of these four on which we have already paid tax in the past. Employee, principal, because this I did not take it physical deduction. That means it was a part of my outer column and I have paid tax. Is this already tax? So this we cannot tax now. Not because we have any sympathy with you, Bakra. We don't have any sympathy. But you have already paid tax. But have you paid tax on these amounts ever before? No, because principal was fully exempt, interest was fully exempt. Now pay tax. Fully taxable under income from salary. Instead of paying small amounts ke upar tax every year, you are going to pay tax on the massive amount directly at the time of maturity. And this also taxable, but this has got nothing to do with your employer-employee relationship, and therefore yes, it is taxable, but head of income classification will be income from other sources. Means, do you realize effectively everything is becoming taxable except this one amount, and not because we want to give you any benefit, but because it is already taxed. Bakra will be paying tax at the time of maturity, and therefore during the PF life we are granting exemption. Is that clear, ladies and gentlemen? 100% everyone? हाँ, तो maturity में your PF will be paying tax as discussed. The remaining people will get exemption. But with respect to RPF, I wish to make you write one note. So first note was about employee contribution explanation. Second note was about employer contribution explanation. Third is about this RPF. Is RPF maturity fully exempt? They have put a small condition. While it appears like, yeah, sir, full life he has struggled, now give exemption, now why you are putting condition? But the condition is logical. See, the whole idea is full life you have paid tax, which is PF life for 15 years. So now we want to exempt the maturity. But the point is only if you have kept money in RPF for a good number of years. So every year there is contribution and you are paying tax on the excess over 12%, 9.5%. RPF ka maturity will be exempt if the RPF ka money was locked in for minimum 5 years. Means normally RPF matures after 15 years. If you withdraw money before 15 years, it is called premature withdrawal. And the Provident Fund will penalize you for that premature withdrawal. They will deduct some interest amount. But income tax is unaffected. If you withdraw in 14 years, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, no, till 5 years, no problem. But if you withdraw money within 4 years, then income tax will not give you tax benefit. We want to give you tax benefit of a big maturity value. Big maturity value means minimum contribution should be for a period of 5 years. So is RPF maturity exempt? Yes, but only if you withdraw the money after 5 years. If you withdraw before 5 years, that premature withdrawal will be taxable. See, understand there are 3 zones of withdrawal. If you withdraw from 0 to 5 years, Provident Fund will also penalize you and income tax will also be applicable. Then maturity won't be exempt. After 5 years, PF people will still penalize you because their maturity comes at 15, but income tax won't come. And of course, after 15 years, full money of PF you will get full income tax exemption. Ignoring the PF part, if our focus is only the income tax part, after 5 years, my maturity will be exempt. So is RPF ka maturity exempt? Yes, but provided you have locked your funds for a minimum period of 5 years. Is that clear? But there is one slight problem. Means, are you trying to say that for locking funds for 5 years, I have to be sticking in one job for 5 years? Because if I leave the job, I will withdraw the money. Bro, only tax professors are those who get stuck in the same job year after year after year without any increment, without any provident fund, gratuity, pension. Not everyone will get stuck in the same job. No? But if I leave a job before 5 years, then my maturity will become taxable. No problem. We give you another option. No need to get stuck with the same employer year after year if there is no increment. No need to get stuck. You are free to leave. That new employer will also be having one provident fund account. So do one thing. Transfer balance from one employer to other employer ka provident fund account, and accordingly as a total you complete. Means their target is to make you complete 5 years. Complete 5 years at one place or complete 5 years together, multiple employers. Bro, you change employment every 2 years. Corporate employees change every 2 years. They join any company only to resign after 2 years. Whether it is good, bad, to hell with it. My job is 2 years. I joined in 2022. So with that logic, I am beyond the redemption time. I didn't teach first time in 2022. Bro, in case there is any confusion. I am teaching since 2010. But first lecture I took in this classroom was, I think, 22 years. So I believe it is. No, I will complete your batch. Because Corporate employees also, they have notice period now. And their notice period is fixed, like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. While joining only they are informed. Faculty notice period is maximum this month, that whatever I am currently taking, I'll finish it off. So before your next batch, arrange. अरे ऐसा example I am giving, मतलब don't take it ऐसे verbally. And by the way, I will continue teaching my subject wherever I go. I hope you get the hint. Arey bro, batch wait. The target is finish 5 years at one place or at multiple places. So the whole objective is to make you complete 5 years. If you complete 5 years, we grant you exemption. Can you complete at one place? No problem. Multiple places, 2-3 employers, total you complete 5 years? No problem. Third, it is also possible that with the kind of employees like you went, this happened. The employer has stopped doing business only. Is it possible that you joined the job, you ruined the job, you ruined the employer and his reputation, and the employer had to actually shut down? In fact, sold the premises also to someone. But you have not completed 5 years. So do one thing, go to that office every day even now. But now the office ka owner is someone else. Sit outside that office. Take one mattress and pillow with you, sleep there only. That office ka people ask, who you? They are like, no, I used to work in the previous owner's office. So I have to complete 5 years. So till 5 years, I'll come and sleep in the corridor. Nahin. Bro, if employer has shut down business, you can't complete 5 years. So the target is to make you complete 5 years. One place, no problem. Multiple place, no problem. Employer stops business because of people like you. Then you won't be able to complete 5 years. You understand? So no problem. We'll grant you exemption before 5 years. So whole target is make you complete 5 years. Or last, there is any other genuine reason for what? For again not completing 5 years. So for some reason, for some genuine reason, you are not able to complete. Now don't say, sir, so basically, sir, I work for 2 years. Then I feel, sir, now I should start my own business. Therefore, I leave before 5 years. That is not genuine. Bro, what can be a genuine reason? Supposingly you are working on any complicated machinery. To keep you entertained, the employer has installed a TV screen also. While you are working on the machinery, the TV plays a movie of Sunny. They all. Oh, hand pump ka scene from Gadar movie. Because of Sunny, you are distracted. Sunny is distraction, bro. They all. What a scene. Gadar. Huh. You are not careful in operation of the machinery. You get stuck, your limbs, hands get stuck in the machinery. Unfortunately, you end up losing your arms. God forbid, we pray for the long life of everyone, but you should avoid distraction while at work. If you are distracted at work, then be prepared to face the consequences. Unfortunately, you are at a situation now where you are no longer capable or fit to work. You will not be able to complete 5 years is an example of a genuine reason. Leaving the job and starting own business can't be a genuine reason. It may be a genuine reason for you, but for tax exemption, it is not a genuine reason. All the points here, they are not cumulative. It is or. Means together their target is one thing, complete 5 years. At one place, take exemption. At multiple places, take exemption. Boss shuts down business, take exemption. Or there is any other genuine reason, then take exemption. You understood? So RPF maturity is exempt only if you have completed 5 years. Everyone is clear? Last note. Over the last few years, Auntie observed that a lot of people who have huge cash flow are misusing this. People having more cash flow are misusing the tax benefits here. Supposingly someone earns 3, 4, 5 crore rupees per year. Think about it. Why not contribute big amounts and take the benefit? If your question was, sir, कितना भी contribute कर सकते हैं? So yes, people were contributing massive amounts and taking benefits on all the amounts. If you observe the interest part of it, most of it is eligible for full exemption. So auntie said basically tax benefit is for low income earning people. The whole idea was people who earn 5 lakh rupees per year will be able to contribute 50,000. So we want to give them benefit. We don't want to give tax benefit to such huge contributors, and therefore they brought an amendment. In 2021, auntie brought this amendment. She said, if the contribution is more than 2.5 lakh, first question, are you allowed to contribute this? You can contribute your full year ka income also. The interest on the excess will be taxable. Even SPF, bro, to hell with government. We are making a common rule. If you contribute more than 2.5 lakh, interest on excess will be taxable. So for a SPF, for example, you contribute 1 lakh in Provident Fund. SPF, interest will be fully exempt. 2 lakh, then interest will be fully exempt. 2.5 lakh, interest will be fully exempt. 3 lakh, then 2.5 lakh ka interest will be exempt, and 50,000 ka interest will be taxable. If you contribute big amounts, big ka definition is more than 2 lakh, the interest on the excess will become taxable. You understood this? But see, SPF will still utilize this benefit in two ways. SPF guy is contributing 2.5 lakh. Interest will be fully exempt. An employer is contributing 2.5 lakh. So that interest will also be fully exempt. You understand? 2.5 lakh is within the limit. So SPF is taking 2.5 lakh ka benefit twice. Own contribution and employer contribution. Poor guy PPF will not be able to take this benefit because there is no. So they clarify by saying if there is no employer contribution, then interest on contribution greater than 5 lakh will be taxable. So for employer and employee, both contributions, you get 2.5, 2.5. By the way, contribution is not taxable. Employer contributes 2.5. Employee contributes 2.5. Interest comes on both, fully exempt. Interest will come on anything more than this. If you contribute 3, so interest on 50-50 will be taxable. But when employer is not contributing only, the full contribution will be made by employee. The full 5 lakh ka threshold we will give to employee contribution. Supposingly employee himself contributed 6 lakh, no employer contribution. So interest on 1 lakh will be taxable. So if both are contributing, you get 2.5 separate threshold. But if only employee is contributing, you get only 5 lakh ka threshold. Beyond this threshold, whatever interest you are earning, that is going to be taxable. Is that clear, everyone? With this, we get done with your concept of provident funds. 4 types of funds, 4 types of amounts, and tax treatment of every individual amount. Everyone is clear on this? So, fantastic. Next, section 10(13). Contribution to approved superannuation fund. I have explained to you the meaning of superannuation. Retirement. And today I also told you that retirement planning can happen in various ways. Provident fund is one way, pension is another way, gratuity is another way, equity market, SIP, mutual fund, property investment, debenture investment, choice is yours. Just like Provident fund is one of the ways of securing your future, one more type of fund is known as superannuation fund. Just like we contribute money in a separate account called Provident fund account, we can contribute money in a separate account called superannuation fund account. So, will there be employee contribution? You can take ATC for that. Means from your salary you will do, in income from salary write full amount, in total write full amount, but from the total you will subtract. Bro, from the total you will subtract ATC. Employer contribution. SPF fully exempt, PPF not applicable, URPF fully exempt because we tax you on maturity. And what about RPF? Taxable in excess of 12% of salary. Here it will be exempt up to rupees 1.5 lakh. So instead of percentage, they have given in rupees. Boss contributes 1 lakh, fully exempt. 120, 30, 40, fully exempt. 150, fully exempt. 2 lakh. Write 2 lakh in inner column, minus 150, and 50,000 in the outer column will be taxable. Excess over 1 lakh 50 will be taxable. Third, this fund will also give you interest. This will also be fully exempt, and this fund will also give you maturity. That will also be fully exempt. Interest and maturity will be fully exempt. So just an extended version of Provident fund. If you don't want to invest in Provident fund, you also don't see just the tax effect. You also see what is the rate of interest they are giving. Supposingly they are giving more rate of interest, then you invest here. Tax treatment is something that we are interested, but that is secondary. First is how much profit I am making. See, if someone is willing to give you 10 crore rupees, at that time you think, there is 10 crore, too much tax will come. No, don't give 10 crore. But first your target is to earn. Once you earn, then start about your tax planning. You don't earn less just because you don't want to pay tax. The best tax advice, tell people, stop earning, no tax. So, ladies and gentlemen, where you want to invest is your choice. That was tax treatment of Provident Fund. This is tax treatment of Superannuation Fund. Is that clear? And in that 2021 ka budget, when Auntie brought this point, too much of benefit being taken, Auntie wrote one more line here. That the total benefit that you are taking, are you taking some benefit under RPF, recognized Provident Fund? Excess over 12% is taxable, matlab up to 12% is exempt. Interest up to 9.5% is exempt. Then, are you taking some benefit in Superannuation Fund? RPF is recognized Provident Fund. SAF is Superannuation Fund. Are you taking some benefit? Up to 1 lakh 50, interest fully exempt. And later in chapter 6 ka chapter, I will teach you about a concept of NPS, which stands for Notified Pension Scheme. Similar scheme. You contribute right now, and after retirement, you get money from the scheme. In the other funds also same thing is happening, no? RPF, Superannuation Fund, right now we contribute, and at maturity we get money. Same thing happens also in NPS, Notified Pension Scheme. So there is some tax benefit that you are taking for investment in RPF. There is some tax benefit that you are taking for investment in Superannuation Fund, and there is some tax benefit which you are taking for investment in Notified Pension Scheme. The total benefit will be maximum 7.5 lakh rupees. High income earning people are making high contributions and taking high benefits. The total benefit shall be restricted to 7.5 lakh rupees. You won't get benefit of more than 7.5 lakh. But when Auntie brought this point, it appeared very complicated. There was confusion. Sir, individually I know this calculation. I know this calculation. And one day I will learn chapter 6A, I will learn this calculation also. Let us assume chapter 6A is over. So do we know individual calculations? So I'm taking some benefit here, here and here. The total benefit. Now when I take RPF, I take amount received minus exempt out of column. SAF, received minus exempt out of column. Then NPS is deduction. So two are exemptions, one is deduction. You are saying total 7.5. So I take this first or this first. In 7.5, which exemption I should take first? There was so much confusion. Tax professionals, industry, employees, everyone were confused. Everyone understood the statement. What is the statement? Total benefit maximum 7.5. Means you should not be misusing tax benefits by taking high value benefits. So we will restrict the total to 7.5. So the question is, in 7.5, then which should I give priority? First, I should take RPF or NPS is 80 CCD, or I should take 10, 13 superannuation. What exactly should I take first? Auntie, give clarity. No, if you are putting a restriction, then give clarity. So basically, Auntie brought something complicated and people asked for clarification. As clarification, Auntie gave a formula, one equation, which is more complicated than what she gave. She gave E equal to Einstein as a formula. Einstein, you know, E equal to MC square. Einstein ka formula was very small. You know Einstein, Albert Einstein, E equal to MC square. Theory of relativity was given by Einstein only. No, gravity was Newton. Their formulas were still understandable. She gave a complicated, of course, she is working under a great guy who says 2AB. You know the history of 2AB? इंडिया और कनाडा का रिलेशन 2AB के जैसा है. A plus B का होल स्क्वायर का फॉर्मूला आपको पता है मित्रों? You know the formula of a plus b the whole square? The people said, yes sir, a square plus 2ab plus b square. India and Canada relations are like 2ab. तो मतलब क्या sir? What do you mean by 2ab? It is working as 2ab means what is this? What is the relation that you're talking about? India and Italy relations you say so we understand. Auntie gave a similar algebra ka formula. Oh, I upon R or something like that, which is more complicated. Okay. You have studied costing. You know the concept of normal loss. This is that formula. Okay. Whenever I used to study anything very, very complicated, I used to first try to explain to myself. Didn't understand. Try one more time. Then I, in the third time, used to tell myself, see, you are the most talented person on the planet. After two efforts also, you are not understanding. If you are not understanding, that means no one can understand this. Neither the person who sets the paper, not the person who checks the paper. If such a talented guy is not understanding in two attempts, no one will understand. I used to convince myself it won't come in exam. Whenever something was very, very complicated, I still used to put two efforts. Two efforts. Come on. Subject or relation, two efforts. Third time you go, I will also be, I am happy, I am happier than you. Two efforts I will put. I said, if it is not working with me, it won't work with anyone. And I used to leave it. I used to call it normal loss. This is that formula. In your entire additional question bank now that you have, okay, you will see that most chapters ka questions, you will find at one place. जैसे starting में you will find all the tax rates का question, then you will find all the residential status, then you will find all the exempt income. Those of you all who have started solving, I appreciate, because soon we'll get done with salary. This is your time to complete questions till house property. Acha, salary, house property, you won't be able to locate easily because the typist had at the time of making additional question bank made a mistake. Typist was typing questions from one chapter. No, he missed salary and house property. So after exempt income, you'll directly find questions of PGBP. हाँ, तो that does not mean that typist missed. So I said, ठीक है, चलो skip salary house property. Then I told the typist, you have missed it. So he's like, okay, no problem. I'll type salary and house property now. But then I had to wait for editing of PGBP and capital gains. I said, I am not waiting. You change the page number. मतलब after my PGBP capital gains gets over, then you start salary after that. So in the additional question bank, you will get salary, house property after PGBP capital gains. I have purposely not made it chapter wise because students do request, sir, make it chapter wise. See, I know what is good for you better than me. If I start making, just imagine, I am saying questions on salary. You will be solving that question with a ready mindset. Okay, I have to think only about salary. Exam ka question paper is not chapter wise. No? So you have to be prepared for anything and everything in every question. While the book is not chapter wise, but that part of the book which was done from ICAI module, I told I have to take all the questions. So then one chapter ka questions are at one place. So after capital gains, you'll find all the salary, house property ka questions. In that house property, in that salary ka question, you'll get two questions on this formula. Put two efforts, like I told you, whether subject or relations, you should put maximum two efforts. Third time, you should leave that person alone. If that person comes back, that person was always yours. If that person does not come back, that person was never yours. Sorry, subject, syllabus. If you understand in the two efforts, then it was always yours. If you don't in two, then it was never yours. Okay, so you can just simply leave it as normal loss. You'll get two questions on that. In your entire additional question bank, two questions on that formula based calculation. Though the law is very clear, the total benefit in these three will not be more than 7.5 lakh. Total will be 7.5. Confusion was about which to give priority. Auntie gave it using a formula. Ignore that formula. I am telling you that there are two questions. You want to read through that answer to get an idea about what that formula is. Two efforts I am telling you to put. But if you were to take my 100% opinion, ignore that part. Those two questions, like Modi ignores Kejriwal. You know how that happens. Take those two questions as seriously as people of the country take Rahul Gandhi. I said people of the country, not Kerala. In Kerala, people do take him seriously. I know that. But outside of Kerala, see, you and me both know how seriously people take him. You have to take those two questions with that same sincerity. Same. All benefits. All benefits, all benefits. So there basically the rough idea about the formula is at the beginning of the year what was the total fund value, at the end of the year what is the total fund value, what is the difference, what is some interest ka rate given, what is that inflation ka rate given, all that she has incorporated in one formula. Opening balance of the fund, closing balance of the fund, then she tells you to take average, and on that average you have to apply a certain percentage. Aisa kuch she has given as a formula. And I tell you, know what, bro, believe me, I have told you that you have to learn a lot from me other than tax also. I get paid only for tax, that is also too less. Some places in life you should not be taking efforts. Some questions in the subject you should not be putting efforts. It does not make sense in putting efforts. Is that clear? Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead. This you should be doing very, very perfectly because you do expect questions on this section 10, 13. By the way, after this 10, 14 is the last exemption. 10, 13A, the concept of HRA, house rent allowance. HRA, house rent allowance. This is that allowance which I take as an example to make you understand the meaning of allowance. You don't have money to pay rent. Bro, we are living in a city called Mumbai. Okay. In Mumbai, if you pay 20, 30,000, you don't get a house on rent in 20, 30,000. You just get maybe one bed to sleep. May not be that much also. Toilet will be outside your house. You have to fill a bucket and take. हाँ ये मुंबई है bro. अभी like it or hate it, but that's the fact. Property rates in Mumbai have become crazy. One big reason is the amount of taxes which government is taking at the time of buying the property in terms of stamp duty. Then every year the amount of property taxes that they are levying, the annual recurring cost of a property has become so huge that then we have to recover that from tenant only. Now, what are you trying to say? That my property ka annual property taxes and etc. coming to 5 lakh rupees and I give the property to you at a rent of 2 lakh rupees. No, na, if 5 lakh I am paying, to 15 lakh I will take from you. No. So, which is why housing in Mumbai has become expensive. So, to pay the rent, boss is giving you allowance means take this money, pay the rent. Take this money, pay the rent. That means, can I say you will be paying your rent with that money? Money will come in the form of HRA and go away in the form of rent. So, we need to grant you some exemption. Do you agree? Exemption here is going to be least of 3 amounts. Please understand that maximum notified is not going to come. It is only at 4 places: 20 lakh, 25 lakh, 5 lakh, 5 lakh. But this will come always. Which one? The actual amount which is received. This is going to be always given to you. Second, 50% of your salary if your house is in big cities, metro cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi. I don't know why they call it a big city, but they call it. I have personal problems. You please don't get offended. Kolkata. Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata are considered as metro cities. Government believes in these cities there is more expense on housing. There is no Bangalore here. Bangalore is not considered as a metro city for this purpose. Bro, in order to be called a metro city, you first win at least one IPL, then we'll call you. Before that, we won't. And somehow your reaction to this may be, sir, but Delhi has also never won. But somehow no one talks about Delhi. Every new season of IPL. इस साल नम्मा कप दे, इस साल कप, okay, something like that. इस साल कप नाम दे, इस साल. Bro, when will that साल come? Don't make fun, huh? This time they will definitely win. Hearts. Huh? Delhi has never won. But no one talks about it. Bro, Delhi comes only to lose against Mumbai, Chennai, to maintain that pass percentage of the other teams. It is like that. But Bangalore is high profile only because of one gentleman. And believe me, there is no RCB fan in this country. If you are a fan, if you are a supporter, it is only because Virat Kohli. You remove Virat Kohli from RCB, no one supports RCB. Think about it. In any case, Bangalore is not considered as metro. Bangalore is worse compared to. If you think Mumbai traffic is very bad, bro, Bangalore is worse, bro. If your flight is 9 p.m., you leave your house at 9 a.m. Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Bangalore jokes. Bangalore में the moment a family finds out that they are going to have a child, there is some expecting mother, you immediately take her to the hospital because it is possible that by the time the mother reaches the hospital, the 9 months will get over. You never know. You might just take those 9 months only to reach home to hospital. In fact, you're not aware of all these Bangalore jokes. You know only auntie jokes. Bro, but social media has become so insensitive. Last 48 hours, social media is making Saif Ali Khan jokes. Bollywood actor Saif Ali Khan was attacked in his own house. People actually shared his meme video some years ago. He had acted in some movie. Bangle ke piche hai tala, ghusu kahan se main sala. So basically, like you predicted your own future, something like that. People have become very, 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 very insensitive towards other people. Some family is in pain as of now, and police is still not able to find why it happened. But people are making fun of it. All said and done, in metro cities, people believe income tax believes that your housing expense will be on the higher side. So on metro cities, we will be taking 50% of your salary. However, this will change to 40% of your salary if your house is in other places. So 50% of salary or 40% of salary based on the location. Now, with respect to this point B, I have to give you few clarifications, explanation. My first question is, how many limits have I given in HRA calculation? 2 or 3? 2 or 3? 2 ही है ना bro. You please understand, only one of them will happen. So don't make this mistake of thinking sir this and this. 1, 2, 3. Arey no. Sir 1 and 2 may it will be one of them. No. So how many limits have we studied so far? 2. Yes, there will be a third limit which we will discuss later. But till now we have studied only 2 limits. Second, we need to define this salary. Think about it, because in all the exemptions that we have studied so far, we have to write. And now when we write this salary, we'll write 2 things about this salary. What 2 things we will write about this salary? Period and component. So 1, we have studied only 2 limits. 2, we will be explaining salary. Now 3, and 3 is very, very tricky and touchy. Very, very complicated. Very complicated. These are metro cities. So expensive housing 50%. Other places 40%. But in all the metro cities, around the metro cities, there is a surrounding region. For example, there is a city Delhi. Around Delhi, there are cities like Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Gurgaon. This whole region is called the National Capital Region, NCR. Noida. NCRT ka books nahi rahe. Who is that pagal? Bro, you are supplying everyone? That is National Council for Education. I am talking about that region, Delhi NCR. National Capital Region. Delhi, the main city, and the surrounding cities like Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Noida, Greater Noida, Gurgaon. Gurgaon is in Haryana for those who know. Then Noida, Greater Noida, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, they are in Uttar Pradesh. But are we aware Delhi Metro goes up to Noida? It is crossing the state border and going. There are people who are doing Delhi up down from Delhi to Noida, Noida to Delhi. There are people who have taken houses in Noida because Noida that way is cheaper in terms of housing. But their office is in Delhi. So they use the Delhi Metro for traveling on a daily basis. So the office which is giving them HRA is in Delhi. Delhi. Office mein you get HRA from your boss, no? Delhi. So you apply 50% ke 40%? 40%. Because you have to see the place of house. House ka location. House you have taken where? Noida, which is not Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata. Place of house. Had it been other way around, office in Noida, house in Delhi, then we'll take 50% because we'll see the place of In Mumbai also, we have a region called the Mumbai Metropolitan Region, MMR. Mumbai gets over the moment we cross the entry point. The entry point in Mumbai is known as check marker. The moment you cross Mumbai from one side, you are in a place called the Hisar. You cross that limit, that is Mumbai entry point. You cross that limit, you are no longer in Mumbai. This is not offense. This is reality. This is a fact that these places called Mira Road, Bhayandar, or Thane, or Kalyan Dombivali, or Vasai Virar, or Navi Mumbai, they are not Mumbai. But together they are known as the Mumbai Metropolitan Region. Mumbai is governed only by Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. Beyond that, we have Thane Municipal Corporation, Vasai Virar Municipal Corporation, Mira Bhayandar Municipal Corporation, Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation, Kalyan Dombivali Municipal Corporation. These regions are outside Mumbai, but they are just outside Mumbai. And Mumbai local trains go up to these places. There are people who do daily up down from Mumbai to Thane, from Mumbai to Mira Road, Bhayandar, from Mumbai to Virar. Housing over there in the outskirts of Mumbai is cheaper. So it is possible that you have a house in Thane, but your office is in Mumbai. So Mumbai, so you will apply 40. Sir, why? Because place of house. You understood? Place of house. Vice versa, it is possible. For example, my house is in Mumbai. For lectures, I go up to Thane. I do 3-4 months in a year. I am teaching in that part of the city, or rather, I should say outside the city. No offense, but fact, and students over there are aware of that. So if I am working over there and my house is in Mumbai, so you will calculate 50% because we are interested in the place of house. So 3 things. 1, we have studied only 2 limits. 2, salary will be defined. And 3, we have to check the place of house. The place of work is irrelevant. Ye clear hai? Third and the final limit. What are you doing with the HRM? Paying rent. See, end of the day, the whole idea behind granting exemption is the rental expense, because you don't have the full money with you. A part of the money received is spent in the form of rent. So we will grant you exemption only and only if the rent that you are paying, you will be paying to your landlord, is exceeding 10% of your same salary that you have calculated above in note 1. Rent paid minus 10% of your salary. Supposingly your salary is 50,000. So what is 10% of salary? 5,000. If you pay rent of 8,000, that means you are paying too much of rent, which is more than 10% of your salary. Then we grant you exemption only of that excess of 3,000. Rent paid minus 10% of your salary. You understood? Rent paid minus 10% of salary. Let me put it in words. HRA exemption is given only if your rental expense, which you are incurring from your HRA receipt, if your rental expense exceeds 10% of your salary. If it does not, if it is negative, the exemption will become 0. Who will get exemption? Only those who pay rent more than 10% of their salary. Only those who pay rent more than 10% of their salary. Is that clear? Everyone? 100%? These are your limits. Actual 50 or 40 based on location of house, and rent paid minus 10% of salary. Of course, we need to write our notes. First note, certainly required. First note will be definition of salary. Every time we define salary, we need 2 things: period and components. Let me give you the components first, because let's be simple. Is there any other law applicable? Whenever no other law is applicable, income tax will give you basic plus DA in terms plus fixed percentage commission on turnover. Basic plus DA in terms plus fixed percentage. 99% it is this only. There's this one case where it is different, which will come very soon. I'll tell you about it. If any other law is applicable, take that law ka components. If no other law is applicable, income tax always takes these things, and very logical. Basic plus DA in terms and percentage commission. In non-POGA, I explained the logic of that. What about the period? Means we have to take 50% of salary or 40% of salary of what time? Of what period? Of course, in that we will take basic DA in terms and percentage commission. Correct? Till now we have been coming across period like last drawn, average, something like that. Here it is not like that. Here they say take salary of that period for which house was taken on rent on due basis, ignoring any advance or arrears of salary. That period for which house was taken on rent on due basis, ignoring any advance or arrears. Let me make you understand. Are you taking rent paid here? The rent that you have paid for taking a house on rent? You paid rent for how much time? That much rent will come here. So salary also of exact that period. Supposingly, you have taken a property on rent for full year. So rent is paid for full year. Then take salary also of full year, which basic DA in terms percentage commission. See, what all you have to take, that we have already discussed. Now we are discussing these three things of which period? Rent you have paid for full year. So salary also take for full year. Is it possible that you have paid rent only for 6 months? 6 months you were staying with your parents. So this rent is for how much time? Then salary will also be of 6 months. And in that you will take what three things? That is clear to us. Wait. Salary will be of 6 months. Salary will be of those 6 months. You paid rent from April to September. So salary also you will take basic DA in terms and percentage commission of April to September. Exact those period, those months. You can't take any 6 months. Supposingly you are saying, very complicated but possible. April in a rented house, May with your parents. June in a rented house, July with your parents. Alternate months, 1 month rented house, 1 month parents. Are you having rent of 6 months? Alternate months. So salary also you will take off those 6 months, the alternate 6 months, in the months in which you paid rent. So whichever month you paid rent, that month ka you will take basic DA in terms and percentage commission. Is that possible? Now come back to the first case. Have I paid rent for the full year? Yes. So will the rent be of the full year? So salary also I will take of the full year, full year, full year. Everyone is with me? Supposingly my full year ka salary is 6 lakhs. 6 lakhs. And rent I have paid. This 6 lakh includes basic DA in terms, percentage commission. Rent I have paid for full year. So will I take year also 6 lakh ka 10%? Yes. Because full year rent, full year salary. Slight twist. This year I have received from my boss advance salary of next year. Is that possible? Yes, I needed money, he gave it to me. Listen to the question carefully before saying yes or no. Is this advance salary of 1 lakh which I have received for next year taxable under income from salary? Yes. Why? It does not pertain to current year, it is of next year. But due or received, is it taxable under income from salary? Yes. So if I make a computation, sir, what computation? Computation of income from salary. In that, will I take full 7 lakh? Yes. But in HRA, I will take only 6 lakh. Computation of income from salary, I will take advance salary, arrear salary, due or receive, whichever is earlier. But this calculation is not income from salary calculation. This is exemption calculation. In exemption calculation, I will take salary on due basis of the rent period. But in income from salary calculation, I will follow that rule, due or receive, whichever is earlier. You understand two different calculations? Calculation of income from salary, due or receive, whichever is earlier. But calculation of 1013 exemption, 1013A will be due salary of the rental period. Abhi, that way, though, if I take property on rent only for 6 months, I will take only 6 months salary. But income from salary will be of the full year, no. So this salary will be due basis of rent period. Income from salary will be due or received, whichever is earlier. You understood, Mitro? 100%. That period for which rent is paid. That period ka due basis ka salary will be taken. Everyone is clear? Bro, everyone is clear? Note 2. There is one thing that you will have to now understand in this calculation. The calculation first tells me to take actual receipt. But HRA as an allowance will be paid to me on a month-on-month basis. Fantastic. So can the actual HRA received during the year be different in different months? Can it change during the year? No, no, do one thing, tell your boss, sir, now you increase only in April because otherwise calculation gets affected. No? Can HRA change? Yes. Can place of your house change? It is possible some months you are in 50, some months you are in 40. Fantastic. Can your salary change? If your boss is increasing your salary, then 50 or 40 will also increase. But tell your boss, sir, don't increase before April, sir, otherwise calculation will change. Right? Can the rent that your rent that your landlord is charging, can the rent also change? Means if there are changes in these things, then I can't be taking HRA received of the full year. Rent paid minus 10% of salary of the full year. Bro, rent has changed. Salary has changed. Arey bro, I'll take 50 or 40 if house has only changed. What will I do? You understand? If all of them remain same, supposing the whole year my house remains same, my salary remains same, my rent and HRA everything remains same, then I can take full year receive, full year salary 50 or 40 based on that one place because house also I did not change, full year rent paid and full year 10% of salary. If nothing has changed, then can I do the calculation of exemption for the entire year? But if there has been a change, which is likely no, then I have got no choice. I will have to do 12 calculations in one question. You want to guess how the number 12 came? You will have to calculate exemption of every month. You'll say April HRA received, April salary 50 or 40 based on April house, April rent paid minus 10% of April salary. Whichever is lowest will become April exemption. April received minus April exemption equal to April taxable. Do this 12 more times, 11 more times. And then take the total received and total exempt to get the total taxable. What am I trying to say? If following remains same throughout the year, means if there is absolutely no change. If following remains same for the full year, sir, what? The HRA that you are getting has not changed. The salary that you are getting has not changed. The location of your house has not changed. And the rent that you are paying has not changed. If nothing has changed, then what to do? You can do annual calculation. Otherwise, you will have to do month by month calculation. If nothing has changed, so we will do nothing has changed, so we will do annual. And if there is a change, so we will do monthly calculation. Understood? Calculation will remain same. Steps do not change. And how to do it fast, there is a trick for that also. I'll show that trick to you also. But have you understood this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was your exemption under 10, 13A, house rent allowance. On this, we will be doing a question. This is the most complicated question which is ever possible on HRA. If you are able to do this, then you can and you will be able to do any question on income from house property. Income from, kya bol raha pagal? You will be able to do any question on house rent allowance. House rent allowance ka I said income from house property. And you all are saying yes, yes also. So, jhota. There are some days you just feel that I don't want to take lecture now. I have a strong feeling, but today I should leave you all very early. In any case, you all don't have other lecture after me. Which lecture you all have? At what time? Acha, Saturdays ko you all have the second lecture. At 4:30. 4:30 to 9. Bro, means 9 hours of tax in one day. But IDT everyone loves, I know. DT is the less favorite part of taxation. I have accepted this as a part of my life. People always like IDT. Simple, bro. If it is easy, you like it. It is easy, it is smaller, you will obviously like it. Question number 40, page number 67. So I was going to leave you all very early because I am too lazy today, but then you all have to wait only in class. So why to leave you then? Question 40, page 67.
From the following information submitted by in respect of monthly salary and allowances, Find out the house rent allowance chargeable to tax for the assessment year 25-26. Name of employer of Sunil, A Limited, B Limited.
That means during the year, Sunil has worked in two organizations, A Limited up to 31st August. Then in September, he was jobless. And from October, he picked up job in B Limited. In A Limited, he was working where? Agra. In B Limited, in October, November, December, he worked where? Mumbai. And then Jan, Feb, March, he worked in Goa. Correct hai? So April to August, Agra. October, November, December, Mumbai. Jan, Feb, March. Go, bro, work and in Goa? I'm jealous of you. Forget the question, I'm jealous of you, bro. Imagine working in Goa. This is ultimate, bro. This is ultimate. If you don't go on a Goa trip at least once in a year, bro, there's no point in having your professional degree and earning money. At least once, commit all the sins so that you can come back and as regret do good work for society. So guys working in Goa, tell me one thing, this Agra, Mumbai, Goa will help in what calculation? HRA, of course. In HRA, in HRA what? What will we do with this? Rubbish! Rubbish! Oh, yeah. Place of work is irrelevant. You have to check the place of. Take me. Of course, when later nothing is given, so you can assume this to be the place of. But in the explanation itself, I told you that people do daily up down from one city to other. The place of work may not and need not and will not be place of office. Place of work and place of house will be different. We will have to target the place of house. This is his city of work. We'll see. If there is no change, then we will take this. But your current assumption was absolutely wrong. Go ahead. What do we have?
Basic salary increased to rupees 1,80,000 from February 1, 2025. 60,000, 1,10,000.
Means A Limited was giving him 60 till August. September he didn't have a job. October, November, December, January, B Limited gave him 1,10,000 and February and March B Limited gave him 1,80,000. You understand the meaning of the line? Okay, next.
House rent allowance 30,000, 56,000.
Okay, so this is what A Limited and B Limited have respectively paid him. A Limited has paid till August and B Limited has paid from October to March. Fantastic. Next.
Rent paid at Agra from April 1, 24 to September 30, 24.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that means April to September he has paid rent in Agra. Acha, don't say, sir. He had a job only till August. So, sir, how he paid rent in September? Arey, you don't have job, matlab you sleep on footpath? Just because in Agra there is no Salman Khan? Arey, he must have paid from his own savings. But he has rent paid in Agra in September also. This will decide your 50 or 40. The place where you are paying the rent. Understood? So, from April to September, we will take 40%. Fantastic. Next.
Rent paid at Bombay from October 1st, 24 to February 28, 25, 70,000.
Okay, first of all, before you have a political fight with me, it is Mumbai. Okay, we'll not get into that debate. Historically, it was known as Bombay. Now it is Mumbai. Let's discuss the effect. October, listen, job in Mumbai and house in Mumbai. So, 50. Bro, job to hell with it. House is in Mumbai. Correct, eh? November, December. Everyone with me? November, December. Job in Mumbai. House also in Mumbai. Still 50. Place of house. January. Everyone is with me. From January, his posting is in Goa. But his house is still in. Matlab, it is like company has sent you in Goa in the month of January and February. But your family is still in Mumbai for these 2 months. March we'll talk about later. But we are talking about January and February. This is the problem. Jan and Feb. Where are you working? Goa. And where are you living and paying your family ka rent ka? Bro, matlab, forget the tax. Family is in Mumbai. And I am in Goa alone. The only thing better than an annual Goa picnic is an annual Goa picnic alone. So, bro, you work where? Goa. in Jan and Feb, your house is where? You'll take what? 50%. Correct, eh? And then finally someone told about you to your wife back in Mumbai, that when you are in Mumbai, he is in Goa. Sunila, he is in Goa. This is what he is doing behind your back. So she is like, no, I can't leave you there alone. So now, oh bro, कौन था ये? मैं आ रही हूँ. Someone said from here. So your wife joins you in Goa. Now this time your work as well as home, both in Goa. So you'll apply 40. So effectively October to February you will be taking 50%. Only in March you will be taking 40%. Is that clear? Now don't search for sir. Now what? Now what? Now what? The question has already told you. Find out the HRA chargeable to tax. If so many changes have taken place during the year, you will go crazy. You will be thinking, sir, which month nothing has changed? No. The best way of doing it and without any mistake and the fastest way is just solve this 12 times every month on month. And that also you don't need to write particulars every time. Make one particulars column and make 13 amount columns. Sir, 12 for individual months and 1 for total. We will be solving this question for every month separately in a columnar basis. Our question is asking us to do what? Calculation of taxable HRA. How do you get taxable HRA? Received minus exempt. Correct hai? But we will need a certainly big particulars column and we will need 13 amount columns, one for each month. Now there are two ways in which you will be solving it in your notebook. Either you take your horizontal notebook, landscape mode to fit 13 columns, or you take a double side page. Otherwise 13 columns certainly will not fit in one page. Ye clear hai? So tilt your notebook or take a two-way page, but we need 13 amount columns. So we need April. May see I have a tab. So what is the benefit of tab technology? I'll show you. देखना है? Unlimited space I have. Are you understand or no? But you don't ऐसे you'll scroll to the table will come. So huh? क्या बोली पागल औरत? What did she say? Bro, please, you stop distributing it to. I probably you distributed some free samples and everyone is now so attracted. The whole class is high on something. And I had said one day in a year allowed. Not one day you don't take, every day you take. So particulars and 13 amount columns, 12 for each month and 1 for the total amount. Ye correct hai? What are we requested or required to calculate? HRA taxable. Sir, how do you get HRA taxable? Received minus X. Correct hai? Received, so you just have to take from the question, no? How much HRA he received initially? 30,000 till which month? August. Because he was in a job at A Limited till August. Ye correct hai? September he did not have a job, so obviously received is 0. October onwards, B Limited gave him an increment in salary as well as HRA. So yes, from October he is earning 56,000 every month. If I now ask you, what is the total HRA received for the year? Do you realize it is 56,000 into 6 months plus 30,000 into 5. You can use your memory function also. 56 into 6, M plus 30 into 5, M plus and MRC 4,86,000. Everyone is understanding this? Ye received amount. See, total column we will need, no? Because finally, yahan pe whatever answer we get is the taxable HRA. We don't have to give a monthly answer. We are solving monthly. In this, are we eligible for some exemption? Under section 10(13)(a), exemption is going to be least of the, or forget that. If you do everything here, you will not be able to do it. Do one thing. We'll make a working note one for this exemption. And after subtracting the exemption, what are we going to do? We'll get our taxable. So we won't be able to solve the exemption here. because we need our taxable immediately. Is this correct? So we'll be solving the calculation of exemption for every individual one. Is that correct? Now let us continue in this format only. No, working note 1, exemption under section 1013A is going to be list of what are the limits. First, the actual. I'll tell you what, in order to fill this row, and by the way, working note will happen only in 12 columns, because if 13th was possible, then we will not do month on month basis. No. So listen, this column is over here. This column is over here. Whatever working note we are doing, columnar basis only, but only for month columns, 12 columns. Okay. For the first one actual, do you realize that I actually don't have to check the question also? Why? The actual received, I can actually directly copy from what I have already done above now. And as I said, don't write it in the total column. Total calculation is not possible. We are doing calculation month on month. First is actual. What is the second limit? Limit you all remember ke forgot? 50% of salary or 40% of salary. This will depend on. Now then, place of work is irrelevant. So first tell me, in April, what is the location? See, what is my mind thinking? April, what is the location? Agra. So what is applicable, 50 or 40? So look what I am doing, bro. Put a dash here. Once I know the salary, I know I have to write in 40% side. So can I say, till September, I will put a dot against 50 because I have to apply 40. Now then, what will happen thereafter? October onwards? October, November, December, Jan and February, I'll put a dash against 40 because house is in Mumbai, so answer will come against 50. You understand? And finally in March, I'll put a dash against 50 because Goa mein answer will come against 40. Once I write my salary, I know on that salary either I will do 50 or 40 and accordingly I will be able to complete this. And what is the third answer? Rent paid minus 10% of salary. Rent paid minus 10% of salary. If I finish the 3 rows here, will I be able to complete the full calculation? Now go and check. What is your salary in April? 60,000. And in April, I have to apply 50 or 40 that I have already decided. So can I say this will be 24? And what is the rent paid? Only I'll check April. April ka rent is 26,000 minus what is 10% of April salary? 6,000, 60%. 60,000 ka 10%, 6,000. So 26 minus 6 will give you 20,000. So in the month of April, 30, 24 or 20. What is your exemption? 20. Accordingly, I will come and write 20,000 here and I will get my taxable of 10,000. Do you understand the system, everyone? Okay, let us increase our efficiency. Let's come to the column of May. Actual received. Who nahi actual received? 30,000. Salary is what? 60. And we have decided to apply 40%. So this will again be 24. What is rent paid? 26 minus what is 10% of salary? 6. So 26 minus 6. Again your answer is. Do you understand how I am completing every month? By the way, just to let you know, till August, all these figures are same. Okay, wait. That means till August, you just have to write these figures in the same process. Okay, come to September. September, first of all, HRA received is only 0. Without doing anything also, if I just simply say nil minus nil equal to nil, this you can check on your calculator also. But as a presentation activity, what is salary for September? 0. That means, can I say, here I will write 0, whether 40 or 50. And what is rent paid? Because rent you have still paid from your own pocket. 26 minus 10% of this time salary is 0. So yes, you might be getting 26 here, but please understand we have to choose lowest. अभी in lowest you choose this nil or this nil, they are both same nil. So nothing great in September. Focus on October because things have changed. Has my salary changed? Yes. This time my salary is 1,10,000. So I will be having 50%. So 40 has become 15. Salary is also changed. My rent has also changed. What is my rent now? 70,000. And what is 10% of my salary of 110? 11. So 59. So here my answer will be lowest 55,000 and my taxable will be 1,000 rupees. Do you understand how things have changed? Hello? Okay. You will be doing, of course, this in November also, December also. Let's talk about January. January. HRA received is 56. We are still in 50%. Salary has increased in February. So here the salary is still 110 and rent is still 70. So 70 minus 11. So again the lowest is coming to 55,000. Answer will be here also 1. Things will get completely out of hand in the months of Feb and March. So everyone has to be clear, be with me and practice properly and perfectly. February. First of all, we have to still be in 50% because Mumbai house. But salary has changed. Salary ka increment is given and we now have 180. So we'll take 50% of 180. Do we get 90,000 here? Everyone is understanding. See, just following what I'm saying is not enough. Understanding what we are writing. Now, rent paid is still 70 and 10% of salary is 18,000. So 70 minus 18, 52. This time the lowest amount becomes 52,000 and the taxable amount becomes 4,000. Do you understand? And let's talk about March. Try to put effort from your own side. Actual HRA 56. Second limit 40% of salary. Salary is how much? 180. So 40% of 180, 72,000. Everyone is with me? What is rent paid? 15,600 minus 10% of salary. 18,000. Correct? Hai? Means can I say you paid very little rent in Goa? You are not exceeding 10% of your salary when you have paid such a lower amount of rent and the amount, is it coming to negative? You can't obviously have negative exemption. At best, you will be having no exemption and paying tax on the entire amount. You understood? We can't have a negative exemption. Amount can be maximum 0 exempt and fully taxable. Correct? Hai? So if your rent paid is too less, when we say too less, what is the definition of too less? Less than 10% of your salary, you get disqualified for any exemption. The amount will become fully taxable. Is that understood? Everyone? So what I am doing is, it is 2:31 in the clock right now. I give you time till 2:45. In this, I already have given you the presentation. Each one of you has to complete this question. You complete in 2 minutes and take the rest as break, or you keep doing till 45 and you lose your break. But before 45, you have to complete. I'll start at 2:45 sharp. Okay. Welcome back. I think you have completed all the. You completed or no? Yes. What did you get? 3,72,000 and 1,14,000. Everyone. You observe carefully. I purposely did leave those columns which were easy for you. For example, till August it was same as the first 2 months. November, December were same as October and January only. So basically that same data had to be copied. Only that much I gave you. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the last section under allowances. That is section 10, 14. Section 10, 14. Everyone with me please? Section 10. Okay. Section 10, 14. General exemptions. Till now, we have done most exemptions which are complicated calculation based exemption, whether it was as early as leave travel allowance 10.5 or whether it was gratuity, pension, leave encashment. In all that, we had to do some complicated calculation. Are they correct or no? But now we have two categories in this one section 10.14. First, we have expenditure based category, which means your exemption will be equal to the amount that you have spent for official purposes. Exemption will be equal to amount spent for official purposes. Whatever is your official expense, that much will be your exemption. First, understand the category before we go into the individual allowances here. Your boss has given you some money, that is allowance, but from that money you have spent certain amount for use of office. Now think about it. When you spend any amount for your office, that is not a personal benefit that you have received. What is your income? Any personal benefit. So whatever you have spent for office, that much will become exempt. But after spending, there will be some amount which will be pocketed by you. That is your benefit. On that you will have to pay tax. Let's now understand which are the allowances in this category. Second category we'll discuss later. First, we have been given something called tour, travel, transfer allowance. And if you plan to work in the audit department of any CA firm, be ready for this. You will be sent to various places for auditing work. You have to go to the client place and check the books of accounts and document. So basically your boss will tell you that you have to go to Ahmedabad or Baroda or Surat or any other city for going and checking books of accounts. It's a 3-day trip, 4-day trip. Once you enter articleship, even your parents will have to expand their mentality, their horizon. Parents can't be rigid. No, we will not let you go or that. Otherwise, you will not learn anything. And if you want technical knowledge while being in the same office, then you will have to choose taxation. Auditing is about only going and checking, but taxation is about knowing the law. They have their own benefits. We can sit and have endless discussions. Audit mein, you get to go to various places, meet more people, but there is absolutely no technical work. It is only clerical work, checking that if there is a bill of a train ticket, the journal entry pass should be traveling expense account debit to cash or bank account. If the entry passed by the accountant is telephone expense account debit to cash bank, it's a wrong entry. You have to get it rectified. Only that much is the work done in audit. But yes, you get to interact with more people, new people. You get to go to various places, etc. is the benefit of audit. Taxation may not give you the privilege of traveling, meeting more people, new people. But taxation certainly will help you understand the law, learn the law, latest developments, fight cases. It will give you that benefit. Ultimately, choice is yours. So, again, as I always say, mentorship is about one-to-one likes and dislikes. Mentorship is about one-to-one strengths and weaknesses. You may be very strong in the law, then taxation is recommended. You don't like complicated stuff, you want to keep it easy, to hell with complicated stuff, then auditing is for you. It's all about an individual student. The whole idea behind the mentorship plan was that 5 fingers are not alike. Every student deserves separate mentoring, even if the course and the exam that you are giving is same. That's the precise idea. So in auditing, your boss will tell you, go and check books of accounts in Ahmedabad. Obviously, ticket money, etc., you'll have to pay from your own pocket. Boss gives you 50,000 rupees, tour allowance, travel allowance, transfer allowance. In that 50,000, you'll book a train ka ticket. Then you'll go there and stay in that other city. You'll be having hotel expense, food expense, 45,000 spent. So the 5 which remains in your pocket is taxable. You understood? Whatever you spend, understand the tax treatment, understand the category. The amount which is spent for official purpose will be exempt, and the amount which is remaining in your pocket will become taxable. Understood? Tour, travel, transfer allowance, everyone. Next, uniform allowance. Some organizations require you to wear uniform of the organization. For that you have to buy the uniform. नहीं, कौन बोला? They provide. Okay, they provide. Chalo, no problem. They provide. Then you have to wash also. You have to iron also. See, if we talk about formal clothes, they, after one wear, you have to put them in washing. You can't reuse. Formals you can't reuse. And for those who are like, sir, today you are in casual. Bro, Saturday. We have the freedom. Corporate employees don't work on Saturdays. I am working. I am not, I also want a holiday. I also, every few days, just like you, I also want a holiday. But we have taken too many holidays. I cannot afford a single calculation with your batch. Not because one lecture will make a massive difference, but because by chance in that one lecture anybody enters. Then when will I get it back? Bro, no, no, now you have to wait for that syllabus to get. Risk. Risks. I don't want. Bro, risks, risks. So, listen. Jeans, denims, you can wear for at least 6 months without washing. And the dirtier it gets, no, the more comfortable also it. Observe karna next time. You wash jeans, it feels like I'm wearing someone else's clothes. But at least after 6 months, you should wash. Huh? So, bro, for your uniform, you'll need laundry expense now. Array, washing, ironing, etc. Boss gave you 10,000. You spent 8,000. 2,000 taxable. Amount spent will be amount exempt. Are you observing what is happening on the left side here in this category? 10,000 question is giving you, 8,000 question is giving you. You don't have to do anything. You just have to subtract and pay tax. Do you realize this? Everything will be given to you in the question. You don't have to learn anything. You just have to learn this allowance falls in this category where expenditure is relevant. This is not like gratuity, pension, leave, encashment where you have to do calculation. You just have to see amount spent. That will also be given to you in the question. Something like leave travel allowance. That will be given to you in the question. You just should know that expenditure equal to exemption. Understood? Next, helper allowance. Supposingly your employer is giving you a very big project to work on. But he says that in this project you'll need someone to support you. Take this 1 lakh rupee. Appoint any assistant, any helper. You got a helper at 80,000. So 1 lakh received, 80,000 spent, 20,000 taxable, both amounts given in the question. You just have to learn the category. You don't have to learn anything else because received and spent both will be given. You just have to know that it falls in this category where expenditure will be equal to the amount which is exempt. Expenditure will be equal to the amount which is exempt. Exemption is amount spent. Understood? You are understanding the category and you realize that in this category, other than the names, you don't have to learn anything else. You correct? Hai? Next. Academic pursuit allowance. Supposingly, you are a qualified chartered accountant, that means you have knowledge of cost accounting, financial management, direct tax, indirect tax, equity markets, you have knowledge of everything. And you are the most trustworthy person of your employer. Your employer now wants to make you the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. But international protocol in some multinational organizations, as per their parent company, there is a criteria that your CFO is handling finance. So other than your chartered accountancy degree, the CFO should be having, maybe an MBA finance or a CFA additional. By the way, technically we know more than them. But some multinationals ka parent company has this criteria. While the Indian subsidiary company may be telling them that the CA has got more knowledge, my trustworthy staff knows much more than MBA finance. But you'll need. And now, those who criticize the CA course in terms of the energy that is required in this course, do you know that in terms of monetary investment, nothing is required? This is nothing, bro, nothing. In terms of monetary investment, the total cost of becoming CA is one exam cost of CFA. Do you know the fees of MBA schools, B schools? Just to give you an idea, MBA normally is 2 years course. But there is also something called post-graduation MBA, 1 year course, 1 year plan, 1 year program. My brother did in a college called Indian School of Business, ISB, Hyderabad. 43 lakh rupees, 1 year MBA. 43 lakh rupees for 1 year MBA. So other courses require massive investment. And sir, I don't have money. How will I pursue MBA finance or CFA? Boss says, don't worry. I am giving you 10 lakh rupees to do your CFA course. academic pursuit allowance. CA is the only course where you don't need financial assistance. Any other course, even if you are well to do, no, you need. And I am still talking about domestic courses. Foreign degrees, for example, some of my cousins have gone to foreign countries for pursuing higher education. One of them is studying in America. His annual expense is 1 crore plus. College fees plus hostel fees plus food expense plus once in a year he comes back, 1 crore plus annual expense. If I have a fund of 1 crore, I can make at least 50 students CA in that much. Give me 1 crore, my commitment to make 50 chartered accountants in 1 crore. Sir, don't count 1 crore divide by 50 is coming to, don't do that. Because making a chartered accountant is like foundation, inter, final, having their classes, hiring teachers, study material, there's massive cost also. Give me 1 crore, I give you 50 chartered accountants. And that is their annual expense of one child. So those who criticize CA course, bro, you are not checking the other aspect, the monetary aspect as far as investment is concerned. And secondly, the monopoly which this country gives to a chartered accountant is not given to any other degree. Make a balance sheet and sign under it. Only a CA can sign, no one else can. Show me one degree where your signature gives legal document or legal recognition to any document, to any piece of paper. Is there any other degree? Then show me. Is an answer to, of course, you must be thinking, sir, we are to already doing, why you're telling us all this? But there are these influencers who are being paid by foreign courses like owners of ACCA Institute or CMA or CPA purposely to take away students from the Chartered Accountancy course. Very simple idea. Give bad words to the CA course at the smallest available opportunity. It is your responsibility. The onus is on you to go and tell them, I within my limits do. अभी क्या है, on the same influencer का video there is a student who has commented, my student only. तेरी औकात नहीं है ना? Just say no that you couldn't clear. I can't do that from my blue tick wala account. I have to be sophisticated. So what do I say? Let's have a debate, healthy debate with respectful language towards each other. But you are free to whatever you want. You can all write all the uncensored words also. Right? No. Someone needs to tell them, stop it, yaar, bus. And this stop it you can say in your words. Exactly what you thought. Same. Exact. Bus na tuzia, whatever. The moment you say tuzia musically, everything is covered. Please make sure you do this. So do you realize your boss is giving you money, 10 lakh rupees to pursue CFA? 8 lakh you spent, 2 lakh taxable. Ultimately, tax part of it is very easy. Received and spent, both given to you in the question. You just need to know the category. And last, conveyance allowance. But please be careful, there is a twist here. Conveyance allowance between office and field work. Conveyance means what? Money paid to you for your day-to-day travel. So in your, believe me, in your articleship, this is the first allowance that you will come across. Your office will be at one particular place. Again, a big mistake made by a lot of students. They choose office, sir, this office is near my house. It's a big lol, bro. You chose an office which is, in the next building. Wow, sir, every day, no traveling time, sir. 2 minutes, I will reach. Bro, first morning, your boss says, you have to go for auditing. Godbandar. Hey? This is the reaction of people living in South Mumbai. There is a place somewhere near Mumbai called Godbandar. No idea about that? अच्छा वो घोड़बंदर 2 मिनट में पढ़. You don't know that? अरे that, okay, forget it. Listen, where your boss will send you. You have no bloody idea. No bloody idea. You are choosing the building next to your building. It is possible your boss is sending you every day 30 kilometers away for auditing. So for going and coming back, your boss will give you some money. That is conveyance allowance. You'll be spending money between office and client place field work. That much is exempt. Let's be clear. Some CA firms have this facility. That in fact, lot of companies have this facility. Except tax professors, everyone gets this. They'll tell you, supposingly you choose an office which is a little away from your house, but they want you. So they're like, no problem, we'll give you daily ka train pass or taxi charges of coming and going. This also you will spend, no? But this you are not spending for office. Please understand. What is the exemption? Official expense. So when you go from office to client's office, then you are going on a tour or on a travel only for office related work. But when you are coming from home to office, you are coming for yourself. You are not doing a favor. So conveyance between home and office will be fully taxable even if you spend it. But conveyance between office and client place will be exempt. To what extent? To the amount, to the extent of the amount that you have spent. Have you understood? Everyone? Ha. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tour, travel and transfer allowance, helper allowance, uniform allowance, academic pursuit allowance and conveyance only between home and office fall under a category where there will be an amount received. Question has to give you. There will be an amount which you spend for office work. Question will give you. Received minus spent is taxable. You don't have to learn any calculation. You don't have to learn any amount. You just have to learn one thing. What, sir? That this allowance falls in expenditure category. That there are 5 allowances where expenditure has to be seen. Is that clear? You don't have to learn any calculation. But the second category in 1014 is where the exemption is not dependent on expense. You spend or you don't spend doesn't matter. Exemption will be equal to the amount which is notified in income tax rules. Exemption will be equal to the amount which is notified in income tax rules. Certain allowances, they have given fixed amount. This much will be exempt. Whether you spend or you don't spend, the expenses that you are incurring are going to be irrelevant. In these allowances, in income tax rules, the CBDT has given amounts. This much will be exempt. Above this, it will be taxable. So in this category, you will have to learn 2 things. 1, the names. 2, the amounts. In this category, you just have to learn the names because expenses will be given to you. But here expenses are irrelevant. You have to learn the names and the amounts. Do you understand? Sir, what are these? For example, let's start with an easy one. You are getting something called tribal area allowance. Your employer is sending you to work in a tribal area. Tribal area. Okay? You don't say Kolkata and make fun, please. That is my personal problem. Okay? Your boss has sent you to work where? In a tribal area. Boss will give you money, take this money, go and work in a tribal area. In that, we will give you an exemption of maximum 200 rupees per month. So, boss is giving you 1000 rupees per month. So, total received is 12,000. Exemption will be 200 into 12, 2,400. Sir, I have spent entire 12,000. To hell with it. Sir, I have spent not a single rupee. To hell with it. The amount will be fixed. Fixed. Amount notified. So here you have to learn name and amount. Name and amount. But on the left side, you just have to learn the names because there is no amount to be learned. The exemption is expenditure which will be given. But here you will have to learn what, bro? Names and amounts. Names and amounts. Both. Tribal area allowance maximum 200. Supposingly your boss is giving you 150 rupees every month. So what will be your answer? 150 minus 200 minus 50. No, sir, maximum, no. So can I say actual or 200, whichever is lower? If you are getting 1000, then 200 exempt, 800 taxable. But if you are getting 150, fully exempt. Do you understand? Everyone? It is actual or 200, whichever is. And the only complicated question that can come on this is, it is possible that 5 months you got 150 and then 7 months you got 1000. So what is the total receipt? 7750. In this, if you do 200 into 12, it will be a mistake. Nice. This is now going to work like HR. If full year it remains same, then actual or 200. If it has changed, so how will you do it? Year 150 will be fully exempt. Year 200 will be exempt. 800 into 7 will become taxable. So you will have to do it on a month-on-month basis. The month in which you get more than 200, then 200 exempt. Excess taxable. The month in which you get less than 200, so fully exempt. Never do total 2400, 200 into 12. That is absolutely wrong. It is maximum 200 on a month-on-month basis. Everyone understood this? So here you will have to learn the name and the amount. Tribal area allowance ka exemption will be maximum 200 rupees per month. Next, children education allowance. Why do you think this allowance will be given? To educate your children. Wow. Talent you observe. Yes, children education allowance will be given to educate your children. Right answer hai. Why are you making fun of her? Boss can give you how much amount? Any amount. From that, there will be an amount exempt. Like tribal area also, he can give you any amount, but exemption is maximum 200. Children education allowance ka exemption is maximum. Means can I say actual or this, whichever is low? 100 rupees per month. 100 rupees per month. But that's per child. And because we know Akash still exists, so true or false? Akash, only Akash will answer. True or false? You can have maximum 2 children. Are true or false? False. You can have how many? Shh, Akash will answer. You can have how many? No limit. Very good. Very good. By the way, between LTA and today also his number might have changed. He is Akash, bro. He is Akash. I am counting lecture number 13 today. He is counting something else only. But you should educate only 2. Kya ha? He's saying ha ha. So the remaining will become like you and have more and more. You should educate only 2 children. No, educate all. Yes. But boss will give you money only for 2. No, boss can give you money for all. Exemption you can take only for 2 children. Need not be your first 2. You understand? Supposing you have 3 children. Boss is giving you only 40 rupees for the first child, 80 rupees for the second child, and 100 for the third child. So you need not take 40 and 80. The best is any 2 children. So second and third child, 180 is better than 80 plus 40. You understand? Any 2 children. If your boss is giving you more than 100 rupees per month, then exemption will be 100. If your boss is giving you less than 100, obviously this is maximum. So you don't choose first child, second child, third child. You choose amongst all your children. Boss is giving you highest children education allowance for which one? Say third child. He gave you 250 rupees per month. So exempt 100 rupees and tax 150 rupees. Second child. Next. Boss gave you 80 rupees per month. So within 100, fully exempt. Third child. Boss gave you 60 rupees. Or first child. Boss gave you 60 rupees per month. Within 100. So fully exempt? No, because you've already taken exemption of 2 children. So don't take first 2 children. Take highest received 2 children. And first 2 children after you take. The third child onwards fully taxable. Never do it like this. Never do it like this. 250 plus 80 plus 60 into 12 received minus 100 into 12 into 2 children exempt. That is absolutely wrong. You have to do on a child basis. Which is the highest allowance? So 250 or 100? 100 will be exempt. So 150 taxable. Then 80 or 100? 80 exempt. So nothing will be taxable. And 60 or 100? Bro, fully taxable. That means 150 plus 60, 210 per month will become taxable. You understood? Children education allowance ka exemption. You have to learn category and the amount. 100 rupees per month per child, maximum 2 children. Everyone is clear on this? It is too less, no? So, bro, I know that no corner of the world you get education in 100 rupees per month. Exemption ka limit is 100 rupees. Bro, you spend 1 lakh per month, no? Exemption we will give you 100. You still find it too less? This amount was last amended in 1994. You were there? 1994? No one? You were there? Arey, 1994 you were there? No, I was there. Now people are saying, auntie, this is too outdated. 100 is nothing. Increase. Auntie is like, hey, take it or leave it. I want to remove it. Your children are getting educated. Whom are you doing a favor on? Just imagine, boss can give you 10,000 per month. Say you have only one child, unlike Akash, you have only one child, boss is giving you 10,000 per month. Total allowance received is 1,20,000. Total 10,000 into 12. In that, 100 into 12, 1,200 will be exempt. Balance is taxable. Bro, why should I give that exemption? Your child is getting educated. Pay tax on 120. You're getting extra only, no? Then pay tax, no? You're understanding? And what if I tell you in new taxation regime, 1014 is not allowed. In fact, HRA ka exemption is also not allowed. In fact, leave travel allowance ka exemption is also not allowed. In fact, entertainment allowance, professional tax ka deduction also not allowed. Standard deduction also earlier was not allowed, but to make it look attractive, now she has made it more in fact. So, new taxation regime will take away all these benefits. He wants to eliminate all of it. Just imagine if all this is eliminated. Yes, she will achieve the objective of simplification, but she won't do it. Because why should I remove? 1,200 is not affecting the government. 100 into 12, 1,200. And maximum 2 children, the 2,400. Government is not having any problem. Let it remain. You study. If it is too less, bro, don't request for increasing. I will abolish it. Problem as a CA student is, if you are getting 10,000 per month, you have to pay tax on 9,900. So your income from salary calculation should not have 10,000 in the outer column. You should have only 9,900 into 12. So to match the amount, you should know the exemption. Otherwise, sir, 100 rupees per month is of no use. It was amended 30 years ago. And you don't expect any increase in this. The only thing that is possible is remove this. Just imagine without exemption. Pay tax on full amount. 100 also is a favor. Take it or leave it. Now say. Understood everyone? Now say. मतलब educational scholarship is fully exempt. हाँ correct है. You can't decide that for your boss now. Boss says in my company there is a norm that I give basic this much, DA this much, medical allowance this much, HRA this much, and education allowance this much. There are some employers who you go and request them to increase salary. So they won't increase salary. And then they will give you a counter offer. Okay, I will not increase. You tell me how I should modify your salary by changing the name in a way that you save tax. And that saving you consider as your increment. Some people, some organizations are willing to restructure that salary to bring more benefit to their employees in tax. But all organizations don't. You can't approach a company like Reliance, where there are thousands working like you, then you don't give me education allowance, give me scholarship. Bro, how are we going to change the accounting for thousands of employees like you? And one more difference, massive difference between this and that is, this will always be a monthly fixed amount that boss is giving. Scholarship will generally be what boss is paying your school fees or anything like that. That will depend on expenditure. We can't be giving you expenditure based benefit. Allowances will be fixed monthly amount that we are giving. Having said that, if boss agrees, that tax treatment is different. This tax treatment. Understood? This is a ridiculously low amount. And it won't be revised. It will be abolished. You clear? Fantastic. Now only she will answer. What is the meaning of this? हाँ बोल. What do you mean by children hostel allowance? Wow! What talent! Talent है bro. Talent है. Talent. This deserves cancellation of the date plan. Nonsense. Children को hostel. Wow. Boss will give you money. From that, there will be an amount exempt. Whether you spend or you don't spend, we will grant you exemption of maximum 300 rupees per month. And everything else I have explained that they are not going to increase, they will abolish. But this is per child for maximum 2 children. Again, you will take the highest 2, not the first 2 children, but the highest 2. Everything else is same. This was also amended last in 1994, and do not expect any revision here. They will only abolish it. Don't ask, sir. You are the only one who stays in hostel. You know? All other are local. See, that way our in between gap was too big. So one by one I started forgetting the names. And now I won't forget most of the names that I have asked, and a lot of things like government employee and a lot of things other than that also I won't forget. Yes, your question and reaction is, sir, which hostel you are living in?
Yeah, but
Never. Who told you to come here?
when I took admission now, there was no early bird race in Chandigarh.
Acha. Okay. Because that is just under the bridge over there, like 1 minute walking distance from that branch. And a lot of weddings also take place there. What is the name of the banquet? Patidar. Same building, no? Is a hostel also. Is your hostel? Hostel fees is 300 rupees per month or lower. No? So, if you don't mind revealing, if it is not too private, can you let us know what are your hostel charges?
For 6 months, it is
72,000 for 6 months. Matlab, simply say per month 12,000. No, bro. Why are you complicating stuff? Agreement with whom? So you paid them 6 months advance, no?
No. It is their condition only.
Okay, you have to take minimum 6 months. How much they take in advance? Nothing. So one day go away without paying. They take some deposit. पहले बोलता है nothing.
Deposit they take, but payment of fee they
request on a monthly basis. Hey, tu rende re confused soul. What you are speaking, you are only not understanding. Coming to the point, 12,000 rupees per month average. No, this is 300 rupees. Which corner of the world you get hostel at 300 rupees, bro? Akash will have more children only to send to such hostel. Well, 300 is too less, bro. Go there. Arey, I don't have too many children. Okay, let's have more. Only to send to a cheaper hostel. Nahin. This is not the expense. This is the exemption. Expense will be much higher. And this is never going to be revised. Is that clear? Next. Transport allowance that is being paid for someone who is a disabled or handicapped employee. If an organization is paying transport allowance to disabled or handicapped, and this can also include home to office. Remember, between home to office, conveyance was fully taxable. Conveyance had exemption only between office and client, that also expenditure. But if you are a disabled employee, if you are a handicapped employee, so your organization will support you to come from home to office also. For that, what are they giving you? Transport allowance. They can give you any amount. Your expense also can be anything. Your exemption will be maximum 3,200 rupees per month. Maximum 3,200 per month. So if your boss is giving you monthly 5,000, pay tax on 1,800. Understood the maths? And if your boss is giving you monthly 3,000, so fully exempt. 3,200 per month will be exempt maximum. So actual or 3,200, whichever is lower. If your boss is first 5 months giving you 5,000, first 5 months, and then last 7 months he is giving you only 1,000. So you don't take the total and then exempt. You will do it on a month-on-month basis. Handicap employees, 3,200 rupees per month. Everyone is clear? But this benefit is only for somebody who is certified disabled or handicapped. Everyone is clear? So last allowance. And you are noticing that here you have to learn the names and the amounts. Names and the amounts. But in the left side, on the left side, you have to learn only the, not the. Everyone is clear? Chalo, fantastic. Last allowance here. Daily allowance for transport employees. Transporters have employees. Are truck drivers? You know, we hate them. अरे वो truck drivers on okay please आई तुझा आशीर्वाद बुरी नजर वाले तेरा मुंह काला मेरा भारत महान. What else? सोच कर सोचो साथ क्या जाएगा. क्या? You said something, no? If you want to become something, then become Krishna, not Duryodhan. These truck drivers always also have a cleaning staff, cleaner, driver and cleaner. They are roaming across the country. You know, they pick up goods from Mumbai, they go to Delhi, pick up another consignment, go to Kolkata, go to Visakhapatnam, then come to Chennai, then again go to Chhattisgarh, then again come to Mumbai, go to Gujarat. They are full year away from home. So when the boss sends you, no, from the first place to the second place, he will give you whatever is your salary. Plus, he will tell you, take this 1 lakh. With this, what is going to happen? At various points, at various checkpoints, you will have to convince the officer. That will result in some expense. You will need food because you are continuously traveling. See, from Mumbai to Rajasthan, 870 kilometers I have to travel. I reach in 12, 13, 14, 15 hours based on traffic conditions. Mumbai, I leave 4 o'clock, so I don't get city traffic. But Ahmedabad, I do get traffic when I reach. Because Ahmedabad, it is, roughly about afternoon ka time when there is traffic. That's the only place where I get traffic. Once I cross Ahmedabad, after Gandhinagar, then other places there is no traffic. But while coming back, I leave my native place also 4 o'clock in the morning. I get Ahmedabad ka traffic because it's already, late morning. And then I enter Mumbai. Bro, reaching Mumbai and then coming home is another 3 hours. It takes a whole berth. And right now, highway work is going on Mumbai-Gujarat highway, NH40. There's traffic jam for 5, 6 hours. Crazy it is. Sometimes you just want to dump the car, take a train from the nearest station and come home. But there is no other way also. And dump the car where? And what if you need the car? What if you need the car? You have no option. So these employees, we take 13, 14 hours. If you have to send a truck in transport from Mumbai to Rajasthan, it will take 2, 3 days. And during this period, they will need food also. They generally store everything within the truck. And they have their own stove, their kerosene, their vegetables. Wherever they feel that they need rest, they park their truck, they light their stove, they cook their own food, their daily dose. And once they take their daily dose, then the employers also encourage, because then the truck runs on its own. Bro, the driver is driving. Wow. Driver does not even realize when the destination has arrived on its own. Most of them, they close their eyes and drive. Like straight road. They drive with closed eyes. Some of these truck drivers give offer to ad agencies. You can use the windshield to put any ad if you want. In any case, we don't see anything. वैसे भी we have closed eyes while driving. So put ads, no, they will generate revenue. They require money for all these expenses. So boss has given them money. From the money that they have received, we will give them an exemption of 70% of the amount received, or rupees 10,000 per month, whichever is low. Whichever is lower. For example, if your boss is giving you 1 lakh per month, so 70,000 or 10,000, 10,000 exempt, 90 taxable. If your boss is giving you 50,000 per month, so 35 or 10, 10 will be exempt. If your boss is giving you 20,000 per month, tell me the exemption, please. 20,000 per month. Who nahi? How much is the amount exempt? 10. How? 14 or 10? Are hello? Yes. If your boss is giving you 10,000 per month, then 7,000 will be exempt. You understood? 70% of the amount received or 10,000 per month, whichever is lower, is going to be exempt, and the balance, the excess, is going to be taxable. Everyone is clear on this? 100%. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your 1014. Two categories. Now you'll get the clear picture. One category is where the exemption is what we have spent. So question will give you received and expenditure. You just have to learn the category, nothing else. And the right side will be fixed amount of exemption. First of all, expenses is relevant. And secondly, you will have to learn two things. One, the names. Two, the amounts. The how much is the amount notified in the rules for the purpose of exemption. But yes, you still don't have to do complicated calculations like gratuity, pension, HRA, leave encashment. This is your 1014. And this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, completes the first part of the chapter, that is allowances. At the end of this allowance, I want to do some conclusion discussion of allowances. Let's make a summary of allowances, because even before we say that we are starting perquisite, we realize one thing, that allowances taught us how to calculate the amount which is exempt. You realize all these calculation that we are doing is calculation of exemption, actual minus exempt equal to taxable. In perquisite, we directly find out taxable value. You remember the beginning of the chapter that under allowances we will learn how to calculate amount which is exempt. Under perquisite we will learn how to calculate amount which is taxable. But we started as early as 10.5, leave travel allowance. We did lots of complicated calculation like gratuity, pension, leave encashment, VRS. As late as today we did HRA. Then we did some very easy, like that foreign allowances of government employees, like your 1014, where there is no complicated calculation. But today the question is, are all allowances which you as an employee can receive from your employer, are all of them over? Have I taught you exemption for all the allowances? No. Somewhere I have told you in the past that your boss can add the word allowance in front of anything and give you money. Yes, till now he has given you education allowance, hostel allowance, house rent allowance. You've heard these names because you've learned the calculation. But then your boss can give you tiffin allowance, servant allowance. You've not studied any exemption for this. Arey bro, boss can add the word allowance for giving you anything. Boss can give you roti, kapda, makan, chaddi, banyan. He can give you anything and give you money for that. Take this money, eat food, tiffin allowance. Take this money, buy sunglasses allowance. Boss can add the word allowance for anything. I have taught you exemption for some of the allowance, starting with leave travel and ending with 1014. But we have not covered all the allowances. What do you mean by this? That means every allowance does not have exemption. Anything that I have taught you has exemption from 10.5 to 10.14. But anything that we have not discussed, sir, why have we not discussed? Because the list of allowance is endless. We have not discussed because allowance we studied only for learning exemption, and most allowances are fully taxable. If you have received money, you pay tax. You receive money, you pay tax. There are only some allowances which have some exemption. Some allowances are calculation based exemption. Calculation based started with 10.5 leave travel allowance and came up to 10.13 house rent allowance. And then there are other general allowances. General allowance was basically 10.14, which had again two categories: expenditure based and amount notified in rules. But only this much, from 10.5 to 1014, 10.5 to 1014 as exemption. All other allowances are fully taxable. For example, tiffin allowance. Just think about it. Have I taught you any exemption? What does that mean? Fully taxable. Supposingly, I talk about, just see these things. Conveyance allowance. Conveyance allowance I have taught you exemption. But if the conveyance allowance is between home and office, there is no exemption. When we say there is no exemption, what does that mean? Fully taxable. Have I taught you any exemption for a concept called fixed medical allowance? Your boss is giving you every month fixed amount, 3,000 rupees for medicines. Bro, you have no illness, still he is giving you 3,000. And you have a complicated disease like cancer, etc., still he is giving you 3,000. Is he giving you fixed medical allowance? It is not dependent upon your expense. Fully taxable. Sir, question is simple. Have I taught you any exemption? Or get this thing sorted in your mind. After today, if there is any allowance, the name of which you have never heard before, boss is not giving you, take this unheard allowance. Matlab, you have never heard the name before. Let me give you examples only. Bonus allowance. Any exemption taught? No. Project allowance. Any exemption taught? No. When there is no exemption taught, when this name you have never heard before, it means there is no exemption. If there is exemption, I have taught. If not taught, means there is no exemption. And if there is no exemption, means such allowances are going to be fully taxable. Such allowances are going to be fully taxable. I need to have little more discussion with you. For example, have I taught you any exemption of an allowance called servant allowance? Now see how funny the income tax law is going to get with us here. We have been taught an exemption of helper allowance. Amount spent on helper will be exempt. But we have not been taught any exemption on. Now think about it logically. So servant, helper, helper, servant, servant, helper, helper. In helper allowance, if I spend, it will be exempt. In servant allowance, fully taxable. There is no exemption. Income tax law has logic. There is logic. Income tax law believes helper you will keep for office assignment. Servant you will keep for household. You understand? So your helper is an expense for office. Expenditure equal to exemption. But your servant is your personal benefit. So fully taxable. That is their logic. But we can play with them here. My boss is giving me servant allowance for my household. He is ready to spend this money on me. My boss is ready to give me 10,000. I tell him, sir, I'll take 9,500 from you. Just while giving me, on the paper don't write servant, write help. Changing the name can be used for manipulation. Let's talk about handicapped employee. If we give him conveyance allowance, so he won't get exemption. Between home and office, of course. So don't give him money by calling it conveyance allowance. Call it transport allowance and make him eligible for 3,000. You understood or not? We can manipulate by changing the name provided employer agrees. If employer is willing to structure, which employer will agree, He has contracted with you for 10,000. But you are ready to take 9,500. So he is saving 500 per month. And what is the benefit that he is giving against that 500? Restructuring it. Are you understood or no? Everyone? Fantastic. So, project allowance, servant allowance, these allowances are going to be fully taxable. Any allowance, the name of which you have never heard before, is going to be fully taxable. Boss can add the word allowance in front of anything. I told you, roti, kapda, makan, he can give you money for anything. If you are not taught any exemption, what does that mean? Such an allowance is going to be fully taxable. This name you will give. This name you will give. One allowance which is fully taxable. You will give me. Okay, why are you on silent mode? This question you've not understood. I am asking for an allowance which is fully taxable. I am asking for a name. Marriage allowance. Take second. I appreciate how you think. Ultimately, you are sitting quite close to Akash. Because after your allowance, next is his allowance. But listen, that comes in unheard allowance. So you're not understanding what I'm asking. It is a heard allowance. That way, the roti, kapda, makan, everything has come. Sunglasses allowance, everything has come. Hmm. Allowances other than exempt. Bro, either the friendship is too much or the stuff is too good. He has distributed his stuff to everyone. वो samples piece था कि it is actually sale has started. मतलब you started selling it. अरे one sample तो allow, give me also. No, I want to taste. Then I'll be a bigger customer than everyone. I commit to you. And do these distributions after lecture. Any allowance which is not exempt is fully taxable. वो private company is a company which is not a public company. Do you have anything better to say, please? पागल लोग. ओसी टोसी नहीं. You should have said it. Just understand. This is that thing. You pick up a question on salary. Easy question, difficult question, small question, big question. First thing that will come as often as basic salary is DA, dearness allowance. What exemption I have taught you? No. That means it is fully taxable. Which one? In terms or not in terms? Both. There is no exemption. Bro, otherwise if you are saying marriage allowance or children allowance or any, bro, all that comes in this, no? I was asking about something that we have discussed. We have discussed DA, bro. All these allowances are going to be fully taxable. See, I have taught you exemption ranging in these sections. So whatever comes in these sections comes in these sections. You have another lecture, no? You are going to bunk that lecture because you are coming home with me. You know how to ride a two-wheeler? With gear or without gear? Both you know. मतलब motorcycle, Activa, everything you can. You will be driving my Activa today. अरे अभी what do I do? अभी the society compound work is going on, so I have to come by two-wheeler. I have got no option. There is no parking only. Otherwise, I will have to come even earlier. So you will have to drive. And you are not attending the next lecture. You are coming with me. And best part is that in your injured state, I will drop you. Normally, when I drop someone, then I take traveling charges. But for you, it won't be applicable. But because, as you are aware, your house is very close to mine. So I am not taking any traveling charges from you. In fact, normally how you go home? By bus. So you must be paying every day for the bus ticket. You just run away. You pay for the bus ticket while going home. How much do you pay? 5 rupees. You don't have to pay that also. I am saving that. So I am creating financial benefit for you. Of course, your hospital cost. Exempt. ठीक है, we'll see whether it is taxable or exempt. There is a proverb in Marathi. You understand Marathi? Still there are people who don't understand. Sachin Tendulkar's daughter does not know Marathi. कपडे काढून नागडा करून पोकळ बांबू घेऊन जागेवर ठोकणार. It's okay if you did not understand. It's okay. Translate. Now they are asking for translation. This guy, I am still explaining something. He decides to do some packing. Okay, abhi almost time. So now he is going to give last explanation. Of course, he won't start perquisites now. Kapde kadun means I will remove your clothes. Nagada karun. That means when you remove your clothes, what is remaining is called nagada. Pokal bamboo, that is a hollow bamboo stick. I will take that and do not what you are thinking. No. I am going to hit with that bamboo stick on the way back home. Next time I see you doing packing, I am talking. And you are lucky that I am taking it in the funny way, because in the past, I say this in whichever batch, because student ka general tendency and the next lecture is near completion, they are packing. No. I won every batch. Most batches don't repeat it. There has been only one batch which historically and traditionally repeated it. I was in my last lecture. I said I need about 10. It was a CA final batch, in fact. I need 10 minutes time, because just like I start with an introduction in my first lecture, I have to conclude with a conclusion about the roadmap ahead. I started talking. They were packing. I packed my laptops, left the class, and never spoke to a single student of that class ever again till date. That was a batch in 2018. Never spoke to a single student. Next time, I will not tolerate anyone putting, "Sir, pani pi rahi hu. Sir, I am putting my books in my bag. I am putting the pencils in the pouch." I will not tolerate that. And I won't get angry. I'll either make fun of you, pokal bamboo, or I'll just pack my bag and walk away. And you won't like any of that. I won't like any of that. Never do that. Ladies and gentlemen, dearness allowance is a part of every question, small or big. Dearness allowance is going to be fully taxable. Any allowance which you have never heard is going to be fully taxable. WAS can give you allowance of any name. It is going to be fully taxable. Except 10.5 to 10.14, everything is going to be fully taxable. And whatever exemption we have studied, that is what is the summary of allowances. Is that clear? With this, we finish one major part of the chapter, that is allowances. And of course, Monday we will be starting the second part, perquisites. As I had earlier also told you, 2.5 lectures maximum will finish the chapter with questions. So basically, now this weekend for you is 1, revision of salary till year. 2, we are slowly reaching that stage where I am going to enter PGBP. So your additional question bank should be in salary. And for that, you are left with hardly 2 to 3 days to complete the questions of introduction, residential status, exempt income, and house property. You are just left with 2 to 3 days. Every day that you are delaying is going to create trouble for you in the future. I spoke about the law of karma in today's lecture itself. Please make sure it is high time. We are in January, your exams are in May. Please make sure that you follow these instructions. Otherwise, then we are both responsible for your results. If you don't follow instructions, then remember, people will go away. CA Inter is very, very cruel. The cruelest exam, because your friends are with you since school, in foundation. But after this, it will separate you from your friends. Very, very cruel exam, CA Inter. Final is not so cruel. Final becomes cruel only if you waste time in that 3 years period. CA Inter is very cruel. Please make sure you follow instructions. Otherwise, that thick book, we won't be able to do anything. All right. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a nice weekend.